Sorry, mate. Sorry, Blake.
No, you're right. Sorry, man. I'll go in your way.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, and welcome to Knockhill Racing Circuit,
Okay,
to the international layout here tonight, where Sim Racing World brings you the next round of the V8 Supercars combined split. It's going to be another Super Sunday session. I believe we've actually got a top 10 qualifying session in store for us here tonight. I can tell you that qualifying will be split into 2 stages here tonight. Such is the brevity of the track length and the number of cars that we have available to us. My name is Scotty Rattlegun Rank, alongside the man-in-chief, it's Stephen Sinkovic here tonight. And don't forget our favourite Howie behind the scenes on the cameras. Steve, this is tough. This is technical, but I hear you got yourself a little bit of a tutorial session from one of the drivers leading the way for the Pro Split earlier on in the week.
I did, but did you think it helped me? Even with tutorials from someone who's well versed on this track and is very fast on this track, you still need practice. Practice is the key, and unfortunately something that I don't have enough time for at the moment, which sucks. But you know, in saying that, I have smashed in a half hour here and there in the Formula 3s, and it's improved a little bit enough for me to notice. And yeah, I'm quite happy. You know, did well in the Toyotas the other night as well. So yeah, pace is good, and this track is awesome, tough but awesome.
Yeah, tough little technical layout, and something that the V8 Supercars drivers will be looking at and going, where did that one come from? This is bouncy. The car is all over the curbs. It's about mastering the bumps here at Knockhill. If you cannot ride a curb in your car, you are going to the rear end of the field. We're probably going to end up with chaos. Safety cars are plenty, and a ton in store for you at home. It's going to be an entertaining night. That much I can tell you for sure. It's whether or not it's an entertaining from a racing perspective, or whether, look, some of us like to sign up for Demolition Derby. Some of us like to do silly things. And tonight, I think we're going to get an entertaining one from the damage side of things, from the cost to the manufacturers of these bad boys, Steve.
Yeah, I agree with you there. It's either going to go two ways. The guys are going to be cautious and do like we did in Mid-Ohio a couple of seasons ago, and no cautions, or it's just going to be all carnage. So either way, I'm hoping it's going to be spectacular to view. But the thing about this track is there's a couple of different ways of driving it. Like you said, riding the curves and going through. The tutorial I did with the bus driver, he actually stays off the big red curbs, goes on the flat ones and keeps it off the big major bumps. And his times were around the 47s, just on average pace. So some guys tend to ride these really heavy curves and set their cars up to absorb the pain, like that corner just then. Others are going to go, we'll see. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what happens out there.
And there's going to be some shuffling about for some of the drivers up and down the field. I did hear that there was a team change in the works for one of the drivers, but I'm sure we'll cover that as we move through the piece here tonight. And Braden Sagassi here from the 1-9 liveried car. He's put the best time in practice so far. I did just see that Jamie Dyke, your coach-in-chief there. I'm assuming that you took some tips from the head coach, at least, Steve. But he's only just recently joined the server. Jamie has done a phenomenal amount of laps previously at this circuit, so it's not as much a requirement when you're as settled as he is, but still a late entry in it, a late understanding of the other cars. I think that's going to be the critical factor, is understanding what everyone's going to be trying to do at every single corner around this track. That is going to be the difficult part, because if you try and shove your nose somewhere where that nose don't belong, that could cause chaos, that could cause a drive-through penalty, and that could cause you going a lap down, and that will change things dramatically.
Yeah, 100%. Look, I did the GT3s on Friday night, just filled in with the boys, and we had a sensational drive by Matty Keane, and his style, absolutely love the way he drives. I think that sort of style on a track like this doesn't give you the room to permit yourself to put the nose in completely and pull it out in time, because it's just corner after corner after corner after corner until you get to that back straight after the Taylor's hairpin. So I think it's going to limit the aggressive styles a little bit. They're going to have to tone it back, because you just don't know where these guys, with this variant of styles of driving, some guys are going to be braking a little bit earlier and some guys a bit later. So it's going to be hard to pinpoint with so many cars on track. It's going to take a while, a few laps to get in the rhythm.
Something else that's worth taking note of today, ladies and gentlemen, if you follow international racing schedules, today is the Rolex 24 from Daytona. Scott McLaughlin taking part in his first ever Rolex 24. Unfortunately for them, they had to do a battery change right as the race started. So they started a number of laps down, and they've been struggling to recover that. They're past the halfway mark in the Rolex 24 from Daytona, and still, unfortunately, not being able to recover the bulk of their laps. There's a multitude of issues going on up and down the field, so if you're monitoring real-world racing, I can guarantee your eyes will be glued to that. And then next weekend, don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, the 12 hours of Bathurst. Some guys will be on the other side of the world, including Australia's own Matt Campbell, will fly his way immediately back in, try and recover from the jet lag as best as he can, whilst also trying to rest his sore body. And then 12 hours of Bathurst. I can tell you that the Crisscross boys, Steve, are making a trip to Bathurst, because a few of those guys live up in Orange for Jake Edwards and Tyson Styles. I believe are both in the Waddy's Pies crew, and Waddy's Pies based out of Orange. So they will be participating in celebrations from Bathurst.
I believe even our own Stephen Mercato is coming across the ditch. If I'm not wrong, there's a wedding between it. Oh, we're after it. So he's getting married, and he's going to come across the ditch. And I'm hoping he's taking his partner with him. He's just getting married and just leaving her at home.
Yes, shout out to Stephen McCartan. If he's getting married, look, she's the best kind of wife if he's getting married, and he gets to go, see ya, honey, I'm going on our honeymoon, you stay here.
Yeah, exactly. Usually when that happens, they come back and they're not together anymore, or the house is being cleaned out or something like that. But yeah, look, it's good to hear. It's a shame I haven't got time to go up. I'd love to go watch it. I think it would be fantastic watching those cars go around. But, another day. We'll see what happens in a couple of years' time.
I can tell you, my wife's actually managed to get a job, so we will be moving to Griffith. That's announced as of today, so I've now got some future ahead of me. And it's changed. Go ahead, Steve.
I said congratulations.
Yeah, I mean, she said, oh, you've been chasing this dream for a couple of years. She said 12. I've been chasing this zookeeper dream for 12 years. I said to her, but you've been looking after a monkey for, the last 10? So I thought you'd already achieved your dream.
Is she talking about you when you're talking about the monkey or someone else?
Yeah, she's absolutely talking about the monkey in the sim seat at the moment. Look, they say monkeys can drive cars and still would have won. That was a favourite saying back in the days of Craig Lowndes and Mark Scaife at the HRT. They said, oh, yeah, if you'd driven this car, a monkey could have won. It turns out in my case, apparently it's true. Righto, we are coming through the last minute worth of practice here, Steve, and then it is not a top 10 shootout night tonight. It is going to be 2 separate sessions of, I think, 20 minutes or so, whereby I believe it's going to be the procedure is going to be the AMs will go out first. They will set their times, and the pro guys will have a crack after that. So
100% correct. It's a feature night tonight, so we'll have a heat 1 and heat 2 with the top 10 reverse grid.
So I heard chaos.
Yeah, I'm loving it.
Unbridled chaos on the run into number 1. The difficult factor.
How I'm going to cut this to fit into our broadcast for live TV. It's going to be fun to watch it back and cut it in, and yeah, I can't wait.
I hope you bought the sponsorship rights to the song that goes, "Here Comes the Boom, Here Comes the Boom, Ready or Not," because I think you're going to see a lot of that this week.
Yeah, either that or something from Rage Against the Machine.
Righto, ladies and gentlemen, metalheads, you better get your angry on. Practice is now complete. We will switch over into AM qualifying, and looking up and down the list from the practice times here, Steve. Jake Jackson, I think it is, from the 1-9 team. So 1-9 have got 2 drivers quite towards the front in terms of their pace. They had Braden Sagas with a 46.787 and a bit over 2/10 back on him. Was the first of the AM drivers, one of his stablemates. So it looks as if the 1-9 cars have got absolute heat in those tyres here tonight and got outright pace, but it's still navigating a qualifying session where it is standing room only.
Yeah, 100%. And again, I think we're going to see a very, very tight top 10 with only a 10th or so between cars. You're looking at it now between Brian and Jones. What is it? 2/10s, not even 1.1/10. It's going to be absolutely epic, and it's going to be tough even with 20 cars at a time going on to do a nice clean hot lap as well. They're going to have to pick their gaps and hopefully not bin it and be able to maintain that gap so they can just get the tyre warmed in and just keep doing the laps and getting a bit of stability and rhythm in.
Righto, there's going to be absolutely nothing, ladies and gentlemen, between these guys. The bulk of the pro drivers have been towards the head of the field. Practice times will not give us much of an indication here tonight. And the main reason for that is going to be because there will be a ton of cars up and down the field who did not get the opportunity to set a representative lap time just because of how quick it was. We've got Brad Wall on shot at the moment. It's time for probably to go on board for the first lap of the night, the qualifying lap from Brad Wall. What's it going to be? These drivers are just setting their first lap times. 3rd gear, 4th gear, the run down the main straight. First time on the board from Jake Jackson's 47.854. 47.6 from Brad Wall actually went to the top. Shift down, over the curbing on the right, over the curbing on the left. Keep the car balanced. Keep it underneath you as you run through turn number 4. You'll try and that's turn number 3. Now it's turn 4. Now it's turn 5 and 6, up and over the crest. That is quite tricky to keep the car underneath you. The run to Clark here at turn number 7. Downshift, keep the car balanced. Try and pick up the throttle. Try and find some pace. Jake Jackson didn't find pace. He was not improving on that second lap, and he aborted it. Brad Wall gets through. The run down to the final corner. Only gets to the end of 5th gear here, and then turns it all the way back in. Leaves it in 2nd because he's looking to keep the car stable underneath him and pick up the throttle. Comes back to the line from Brad Wall. Will he improve on the time? Ty Delaney set a purple first sector. Brad Wall does not improve, but at the moment, the benchmark is a 47.6 from the driver of the 22 for Sim Racing World. That was an entire lap, Steve, and that took us 48 seconds.
100%. Yeah, Ty's just pulled out a third position in there as well. It's going to be really, really, really tight. I'm using the standard, mate.
So, Steve, we're going to try and remove him from the bathtub. You sound like you're in the bathtub, mate. Is it at least nice and relaxing in there? You had a splash around?
Well, I don't know. Nothing's different to what I'm normally using, so I'm hoping that that things are working the way they're supposed to.
Anyway, Quash has gone in and set a nice banker there as well, 47.953. And Jake Jackson comes out of the pit lane, and he sets the timing board alight as he goes to pole position with a 47.580. We're going to have to keep our eyes on the middle of this board, because have a look at Stephen Martins, who's on a banger in the middle sector as well. 3 sectors to this lap, goes quicker in the final sector, does improve by 1 spot. No, he improves by a bunch of spots, all the way up to 3rd. That's going to shuffle Ty Delaney down to 4th. Ty Delaney, I can tell you, is off track at this point in time. Troy Dooley was just off track as well. It is coming through thick and fast. Have a look at that track map. That is the cars going around at this point in time. And if you come out of pit lane here, Steve, it is tricky. It is standing room only. You've got to aim for a gap in the traffic, if you can find one.
If you watched Tuesday night, you would remember this particular car, Cowie, just coming around a corner and actually meshing between the 2 cars in between the track as he was coming out of the pits, and it was unbelievable to watch. Get back and watch it on YouTube, guys, because the way these guys are exiting the pits was spectacular. It was crucial about timing. It was crucial about everything. It was really cool.
Righto, so now we'll settle ourselves back in. We're going to look for those purple streaks across the bottom of your timing board. Reminder, ladies and gentlemen, what does the coloured bars mean? Well, for Hayden, he's just set 2 green sectors. Those are his sector bests. From Andrew Cowan, he set a personal best in the 1st sector. That's going to jump him all the way up to 5th. A purple time is the best time in that sector of the racetrack so far. Have a look at the car rejoining from the pit lane. That's Ty Delaney. Brad Wall will rejoin in behind him. They've found a really nice little hole on track that they can file into without interrupting anyone up ahead of them or coming through on a faster lap behind them either. So really nice slotting in from here. And it's going to be Clutterbuck to come through. I think he's just started a fresh lap. So I think he's a little bit wide at the first apex, and he's going to be out of sorts when he gets to turn number 2. Indeed is. Now we're looking further down to Stefan Lawrence, who's a little bit off of sorts. He's in 14th, Steve.
He's just got 3 greens in a row, so he's jumping up like crazy.
And here comes Cowie. Cowie's gone to P2.
Wow, I think we're going to get some surprises. The tyres are starting to get a bit warmer. Those are the guys who can stay out and stay clean and get some more heat into these tyres. Should be pretty cool.
Cowie's off the track. I think he's looking for an appropriate place to reset and have another crack at this one. Travis Daly in the final sector is having his best lap at this point in time. Green in the middle sector. How's the final sector going to be? Gets to the line. That looks to be improved from Travis Daly. Jake Jackson has just set his 2 best sectors so far of the qualifying section and comes across the line. Didn't improve on his time, I don't think, from Jake Jackson. No, indeed he did, sorry. My apologies. He's gone from a 47.5 to a 47.193. So improvements up and down the field, Steve. But it is, again, it's just slamming it through. We are only 7 minutes into this session, ladies and gentlemen. Still ample time for these guys to get in and get back out.
100%. Some of these guys might be a bit like me, where they haven't had a chance, a lot of practice. So these first 10 minutes is going to be a bit of offs and hitting some dirts and some off tracks. Like you can see, Stephen Lawrence has just had a bit of a dip out there and testing the dirt to see how soft it is. But the second 10 is where they're going to really heat up. They're probably tuning their cars a little bit for a quality point. Some of these guys are going to be using quality setups and race setups. So I'd say practice, last end of practice would have been starting to tweak their quality setup if they're using a second setup. And now maybe a final tweak in the first 10 minutes.
And look at how much of the curbing that Jake Jackson has to use. There's a little bump on the left-hand side on that ripple strip at the entry to 3. Runs it all the way out. Stays off the sausage curbing on the right. Uses the stuff on the left and right there at Cressley Hill at 5 and 6. Down the back straight into, this is going to be Clark. Is the corner name of turn number 7. Railway Straight the back straight, presents itself, the best overtaking opportunity, indeed nearly the only overtaking opportunity of the lap, the run into Taylor's, and he'll try and double it back, pick up that speed early. So he's looking for a late apex. That says to me he wasn't a flyer that lap. He won't improve. He's setting himself up for a next lap. He wanted to get a huge launch off that final corner, Steve.
That chicane on Clark is, you literally, if you don't take it right, you literally get a bit too much air and just destabilises the car before you can plant it and start turning it into hislop. And I've had a few offs in practice trying to get out of that corner, and I've seen some cars actually get full air coming through there as well.
Stefan Lawrence has just improved his lap time, and that will jam him deep into the field. Where's he popped out? No, he's still 14th. Never mind, it was somebody else I saw jumping from way down the field.
Bailey's on 2 greens at the moment. Oh, and also Hayden as well. So they're picking up some pace, both currently in 9 and 12th.
Yeah, Stefan Lawrence has not improved. He's still over a second off the next car that he's trying to track down. Jake Jackson's had a wild ride through the middle of the lap as well, trying to reset himself to go again. Try and preserve those tyres. Here comes Travis Daly. Does put in a new better lap, I believe, for the driver currently in 9th. Not enough to improve a place. And Hayden's going to take a shortcut and abandon that next lap here as well.
Ooh,
gets out of everyone's way.
Yep.
Good job.
And a good evening to you too, Mr. Greg Leake. He's on YouTube watching us. Hope you're feeling good, mate, and sit back and enjoy it, and have a mouthful of ice, because I know you're not allowed to drink.
He's not even allowed to drink all that much water, I heard.
No, he's up to 1.5 litre a day. Nathan ShiBBy Howard said he'll have a beer for you, Greg.
I actually do want to extend the opportunity. This is something we actually discussed prior to the race session. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, today marks the 5-year anniversary of my grandfather passing away, and unfortunately did take his own life. So I wish to, as everyone knows within the SimWorld community, we are a big community. We're a big community of guys that really look after each other as much as possible. The FU Suicide logos, you see them plastered all over cars, and this is a great opportunity to extend that welcoming arm, the grace of the entire community all around us, to have a look and have a chat to your mates, and if you're feeling unwell, talk to everyone around you. Cowie's going to set himself up now for another lap, and the hashtag talk to me bro. Thanks ShiBBy, you are on form here tonight. But yeah, look, it's a timely reminder, ladies and gentlemen.
That one, Scotty, just extend on that one. If you've got a friend who's single, lives alone, whether it's male or female, every now and again, just reach out to them. Just say, yeah, how you doing, bro? Or how you doing, love? Whatever your case may be. People that live alone tend to be in their own little world, own little cocoon, and it's always good to hear a friendly voice.
Yeah, always good to hear from people. Greg Leake is one of those guys that went, gee, he went missing in action. I wonder where he's doing, what area he is. It's good to check him in. So, anyway, back to qualifying and halfway through the amateur session at this point in time. Brad Wall's starting another lap. Jake Jackson is not going to improve, but look at those first 2 sectors on his lap. And Stefan Lawrence continues to struggle. He's just about gone backwards into another tyre barrier. This is his qualifying performance. If this is what his race looks like, I wonder how many safety cars Stefan Lawrence is going to cause on his own.
Am I seeing things, or is Stefan Lawrence usually in a KFC gear?
No, that's correct. He's not right. He's a right.
Oh, that's right. No, it's a different person.
Stephen Martin. I think Stephen Martin. Yeah.
But that was a nice. Yeah, that's a nice slide into the wall.
You know what? The only person that I want to hashtag talk to me bro is KFC. Can you guys send me some free chicken? K-Done. That'll improve my mental health.
It'll improve your mental health, but probably not the lining of your heart or your arteries, mate.
Mate, it doesn't matter. Look, if there's something I want to snuggle up to late at night, it's a bucket of popcorn chicken. Oh, here we go!
So the only Rams car, and he's jumped up to 3rd. Well done, Mr. Nash.
Yep. So Dave Nash, a different Riot Sim racing car. That has the look of a retro car, Stephen. I'm always down for a retro car.
Yeah, I like my like you've seen me in the first round for the AMS. I drove my Alamoth Ford XB livery back in the day when he was driving that. And I like the retro ones. A little bit easier to pump your sponsors on the more retro styles. The some of these styles of the boys going, it looks good and everything, but you know what? It's too flash sometimes, and you don't. It doesn't make your sponsor pop some of the designs, but this one's not too bad. The livery on the side, the logo pops really cool, so that's what I always look for in a good livery.
Yeah, those it really reminds me of the FPR cars. They've always looked good, and they've always supported their sponsors really, really well. Always love some of their drives. The Cool Drive entries, always love a Cool Drive styled car. This is another nice one. This is a little bit like a child's taken to it with crayons, but done artistically rather than a little bit scratched all over. But your fridge would say a little bit different, I'm sure, Steve.
It's sometimes it's simple, and that's all it needs to be. You know, our liveries last season for SRW were just simple. That was it. It was very minimalistic, and it works. Everyone's their own style and design, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Completely.
See, look at that. Boom. There's the logo. Just flashes straight in your face.
Oh, so that's why you spin it all the time, Steve.
Yeah. Oh, no. I do it on purpose. I really do. I've got to get a profile of the car. That's where all the branding is. And the shadows on the bonnets are too hard to get a good look at the bonnet, to see what's there. But, you know, when you're on sideways, I did a cheeky park in the amateurs, actually. I think it was the amateurs or the F3 where I parked behind the champions during the week. I think I did it both, actually.
I was going to say, does it ever get to a certain point where a race where you just go, I've had enough? Race control, I'm just going to park the car here and watch the rest of the race from sitting right here. Do you mind if I do that?
Well, I must.
Here we go.
I have
all right.
pulled out of a race. I did pull out of a Knockhill race and park it up because I was just getting too frustrated. First time I've done that for a while, actually.
Yeah, tricky
the
track.
boys are just
Very
about,
technical.
Boys are just about to finish their the AMS qualifying section. Finishing it with a nice Nashy into the wall. So at the moment we're sitting with Jay Jackson on the front, Vlasbon second, Nash third, Cowan fourth, Ty Delaney fifth, well done Ty, and Brad Wall in sixth, Stephen Martin seventh, Pete Pavlovich, Daniel Clutterbuck, D Dooley, T Daly and Kennedy. So that is pretty cool. And the times are looking pretty close too. The whole, the whole top 18, all in 47s.
Yep, so there's absolutely nothing.
The only one who's missed out on the 47s.
He's a mile off. He's a second off the next car ahead of him, which is Michael Clash. So that's a driver that's struggling. I actually really feel for Stefan because, like, if there's one track that you don't want to struggle at, it's a track like this because if you do, you're gonna get eaten alive, very, very quickly. So, but Stefan's got a great race brain. He's got a really, really good understanding of what will happen. For the entire field, so we will see how that goes.
Yeah, look, he's a previous AM winner as well.
Amateur drivers just finished their qualifying session now, so just listening into what Race Control had to say. Race Control's just advising them all, hey, can you guys just all press the ready to race button, which will remove them from being able to take any further parts in the server. So another little tip and tidbit for those guys out there. The pro drivers are sitting at the end of pit lane and track is currently just being checked over and waiting to be cleared. And then we will see the pro drivers get themselves out on track. Not seeing any activity in the pit lane at this point in time. So I think we're just waiting on, the 20-minute marker to tick over.
Correct, yeah. Race Control just pulled that out, and one of the drivers asked the question. They're waiting for the 20-minute tick over so they can go out. So they've allowed themselves a couple of minutes to make sure they can get everyone into the pit and out of the session, and the pros back into the session so they can get their fancy cars.
I would also just like to point out, I think that the other thing that it really does for the pro drivers here is if you've got a 20-minute marker direct on the buzzer there, you know exactly what time the server finishes. They go at 17 minutes and 18 seconds, for example, or what time does the session finish? It will actually still finish 15 minutes later, but it'll be really hard for the drivers to clue on and pick up from what's going on in the service. So the reason they do it for 20 is to just sort of make it very, very easy for everyone to understand what's going on and what time everything's going on. So we'll have.
You're going to see the guys now all lining up at the edge of pit lane. They're all getting ready, so they're going to try to get in front of each other and get into some sort of orderly fashion, because some of them are going to want to be near the front of the queue and the back of the queue. This is going to be interesting, very interesting. This is sensational. What are you, Scotty? What are you predicting as fastest time under the sevens?
We're definitely going to see a 46. I don't know how many we saw. So during practice, we saw 3 drivers hit a 46. Okay. So that's why. So we'll
the track evolving? Is it getting hotter?
No, it should stay. The session time hasn't advanced. Nothing's changed within the session. Or anything, so to speak. If anything, the track may see a little bit extra polish. Just iRacing at the start of the most recent iRacing season, which happened right around Christmas, or just before Christmas, they added a new mechanic known as track polish, and it's a little bit different from track grip and track marbles, which are the other 2 things that are available in terms of an evolving track state. And yeah, so there's a couple things that might advance slightly, but those sort of session settings, they were all there throughout the practice. I think if the drivers weren't able to set those sorts of times by the end of the practice session, they probably won't be able to. The only difference will be the number of cars that'll actually be on track will be the big thing. So
yeah, the boys are actually moving in and out of positions. I'm watching. I've seen some of the guys back up a little bit more and try to see where they can get themselves in the queue. Some are deciding, well, you know what, I'll wait for everyone to come out and then I'll come out last. So there's already, we haven't even started the session for the qualifying for the pros, but there's already a lot of mind games and a lot of thought going into what's going to happen now for the next 20 minutes, and we've got 6 seconds to go.
So I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, tonight 15 drivers took to the qualifying field for qualifying for the amateurs. Now the pro drivers will get their opportunity to set sail out on the racetrack and see where they can find each other. So looking at a couple of 1-9 cars deep in the field, they were all delaying their release. There were some of those drivers right at the tail end were delaying those release. I think those 2 cars that are still in pit lane were actually amateur drivers at that point in time. So ignore those that you saw on pit lane entry. Somebody magnetized. Normally the go-to, Steve, and obviously take this with a grain of salt, I'm not a V8 supercar driver, they say the tyres heat up, and that's the difference between your first lap and your second lap, and the pace will rapidly fall off from there. So heating the tyres up, it's only a short warm-up lap, but I'm relatively certain these guys want to keep as minimal heat out of these tyres as they possibly can.
And that's the difference between the grade of these guys. Like they're all fast guys, but the guys that understand the heat level and how to treat their tyres in these warm-up laps, that's a big skip in talent as well. And just listen for 2 seconds at the engines roaring as they're coming past. It sounds absolutely immense.
Yeah, so there's a few guys in the middle of that pack there. They're going to have their qualifying laps interrupted by cars that are just that tiny little bit too close. Have a look at a few of the drivers way down the order that have really separated themselves from every other car they possibly can. There's one car that's already off the road, is DK. That's not Dave Coleman, because Dave Coleman's DC. But that'll be Dave Kirby, I think, is the driver that was around there. Another strong showing for him in multiple different series this week from the Fishy Motorsports driver. So he is hitting a rich vein of form at the moment. We'll hopefully see that again here tonight. Cam Jones sets the purple sectors because he's the first car to go through the track, and Cam Jones jumps up to P2 on the running order by 2/1000ths of a second. Here come the times. Here they will go through up and down the field, and it's going to be... Oh man, watch those numbers tumble, Steve, because these cars are just throwing it thick and fast. Currently, the time from the amateurs at this point in time still stands at the top of the podium. It's going to be 47.193 for Jake Jackson. Cam Jones set of 47.195. We've got a huge mix-up between the pro and the AM drivers at this point in the outright qualifying results. And remember, those AM drivers will start wherever they qualify, even if it's within the pro field. So see them stay where they are. Look at Jared Sanfuentes, who's had a really clean crack at his first qualifying lap. He's gone to 4th in terms of the pro standings, but that has him about 10th on the overall, Steve. So the pro guys not finding a whole bunch of speed at this point in time.
It's still early though. Some of these guys are just getting the rhythm back in a little bit. You'll see that I reckon someone just came off there. I think give it another minute or so, another lap or so, and they'll start hitting those top 10s. Dave Kirby's just done a purple and a green sector, so he's gonna come up there and pop up into the top 10 now.
Remember, Kirby was the driver that did spin off on that first qualifying attempt, so he has yet to set a lap. So he is currently coming around for his first lap. Dave Coleman hasn't set himself a lap either. So of the 3 drivers down the bottom end of the running order, it is actually 3 Fishy Motorsports drivers with Kirby, Coleman and Delaney. So 3 of the Fishy drivers down the bottom there. Braden Sagassa now will jump up and take pole position and overall pole position. He's on his second flying lap. Don't think he's improved on that one. Yes, he has.
Yes,
First driver to hit the 46s will be Braden Sagassa. The 46,990. And have a look at the chaos that's unfolding on the pit lane exit. It is indeed standing room only. Have you seen the attempt to try and find a car park anywhere around this Knockhill circuit, Steve?
And you know what? When you're in that grass, it's actually really hard to get traction. When you finally get a spot to go into, it's hard to get into that gap.
You've sort of got to wait at the pit lane exit. If you come any further down the pit lane and head off into that grass trying to not impede drivers, that's nearly worse for all involved. Here we go. There's a few drivers now starting to push through on their laps. And Blake Delaney will be one of them. He has put a new fastest lap in for Blake Delaney, 47.431 for the Fishy Motorsports driver. And Connor Nixon's going to jump up and put in a 47.3, which put him to overall 5th, but 4th fastest so far. But it's the 1.9 drivers, 1 and 2, one of them in the amateur class, Steve. That is a cracking lap now, it seems, from Jake Jackson.
Yeah, it is. It's very good. I'm just wondering whether Mr. Jackson needs to go up a level.
Well, the 1.9 drivers appear like they're growing and breeding. You said it was Fishy Motorsports. They've got their spawning season. Well, Fishy Motorsports spawning season has now finished, and maybe it's onto the 1.9 drivers who have commenced their growing in numbers. Wilco, as he's favourably known, not the same Wilco that houses himself in the Locked On Lads cars, different guy entirely, is acquainting himself with the series. He's a big V8 supercar fan. This is just about all he drives. He loves it end to end, and the formally juiced racing car driver of Richard Mayer struggling with the rear end of that car, not quite as hooked up as he wants. I think that's what you're going to see a lot of in the race, Steve.
Yeah, 100%. And I love the way you use the wall to straighten the car out a bit there and get back on track. I think that's the wise move if you can do it, because if you stop on this track with the amount of cars that are going around at any one time, you're going to be finding it impossible to find a gap and get back in there.
Yeah, it is a busy track map. There's actually a couple of holes out on track at this point in time, Steve. So the numbers are starting to come in.
But looking at a 46 lap track, that must be only like 5 or 6 seconds down that straight, like halfway through.
I can tell you.
Oh,
Hayden Norris
done, Mr. Norris.
Jumped to the top of the standings, so he's moved ahead of Jake Jackson. He's going to find himself in a 1.9 sandwich, though, on that grid setting. With Stefan Lawrence's lap, there are 32 drivers who have set a lap time at this point in time. Dylan Gray from the amateur drivers failed to set a qualifying lap. He will start from the rear end of the field in terms of the drivers that did progress. David Kirby has still failed to set a lap, so we're going to have to keep an eye on Dave Kirby as well. That puts us at 34 cars, Steve, which means about every 1.5 seconds in the race, you're going to see a car.
Yeah, 100%. And then Braden Sagassa's on another purple, and I'm just looking at the timing table. We've only got one under the 47s at the moment. I think we've got just over 13 minutes left in this session. So the boys in the next 3 or 4...
About 8 minutes left on the qualifying session. Connor
Nice
Nixon has
job
now
on Mr.
jumped up
Nixon.
and stuck a 47.061 to put him on the front row of the grid and steal that one away from Aiden Norris. It's the big teams when it comes down to this sort of racing. The big boys come out to play, and now it's Sagasa, Nixon, and Norris. 3 drivers, 3 separate teams. Connor Nixon announces today no longer a part of the 1-9 Racing outfit, so he will have some beef, I think, to stew over. That will be a hotly contested fight on the run down to turn number 1, Steve.
Yeah, 100% it will be. I think these top three aren't going to be the top threes by the time I finish. My prediction is that the times are going to start dropping now in the next 2 minutes or so under the 47s, because we've only got one under 46 at this point.
And Braden Sagasa has improved his lap time, ladies and gentlemen, by 0.07 of a second to take him from 47.990 to a 46.990 to a 46.926. The only driver to register that magical 6 number against his name thus far. Drivers still trying to improve up and down the field. Have a look at that front stretch on the track map at this point in time. There are cars everywhere. You want to feed into the gaps that's behind the AD, which I believe is going to be, that is one of our pro drivers, obviously, that's out on circuit. Alan Dawson's the driver, registered under the AD on the track map. Well, there was a huge gap in behind him. That's now been filled by 3 cars, who will all race out to grab a little bit of track position and a little bit of clean air to go and do their lap on.
I'm looking at these colours. They're all either having problems with offs and things like that, and balance of their cars. We're just seeing orange sectors. Very, very few greens, and even fewer purples. So my prediction of the times are going to have to start dropping soon.
Yeah, well, we'll see. So, Pro Top 5 is the update. In the overall standings, Jake Jackson's 193 now stands as the 6th fastest time. Still an outstanding effort for any amateur driver. He will be over the moon with that one. Wasn't quite as quick as his practice lap. He was a bit over a tenth and a half off. So not quite up to scratch, as the 5-minute warning has just been issued from race control. I believe that was Jamie Dykel just watching start a lap. Indeed it was, with the 981 car immediately in behind him. Will be Harry Dodds, who'll be looking for a mega tow. We'll see if Doddsy can get this one all tuned up. Oh! I thought you said, Steve, he stays away from the curbing. That was not staying away from the curbing. That was monstering.
Noble just put in a good lap. Sagas has got a purple in his 2nd sector. So the times are starting to get a bit faster. We're starting to see a few greens. Oh, Matty Stewart, 2 greens in the 2nd and 3rd sector.
Sagas is going quicker. Sagas is now into the 46.8, so he's chopped another 300ths of a second out of his time to go faster. 300ths.
One of my highlight reels then.
Now up and down the field, who is moving? Who is shaking?
Well. That was a nice little fishy there. Who's that? Is that Sagas?
No, it was Sagasa actually. Yeah, it was. We were just riding on board with. Interesting to see if he resets on that one. Jerry Sanfuentes is currently improving. Michael Whiting, I believe, just improved. Wilkinson has now improved and gone to 7th.
Wilkinson's jumped up again.
The pro listings. There's a few drivers that are starting to go on their fastest laps, and here comes Bruce Tanek. He is 4,000ths of a second slower than Connor Nixon. He has to improve by less time than it takes to blink your eye to move into 2nd overall.
This is the edge of the seat stuff now. These are the laps. These are the last few laps that count, so people need to be clean and make sure they can get us. It looks like Coleman's had an off track again. I'm expecting Bruce to really be up there today, 1, 2 and 3, because this track, if you can slide it a little bit here and there when you need to, just to get around cars, it's an invaluable tool to have, and he can slide these cars around. He can probably drift this whole track in this car.
The restart, Steve, I think the start is the epic part. He's just lit those wheels up coming off of the last corner, trying to get every little bit of maximum traction. Is that going to cost Bruce Tanek when he gets to turn number 1, when he gets to the end of the 1st sector? Dave Kirby struggling to improve. He is a long way down that entry list. He is 16th in class at this point in time from the pro drivers. Dave Coleman's way down off the pace. Your defending series leader, and Tanix cost himself the lap. Out into the gravel trap. The incident point registers on the board. The lap time will get deleted. He won't get to complete that lap. There is enough time left on the board to complete another lap. The car we're on board with was Aiden Norris as he picks up an incident point as well. He will still press on and see if he can improve. Sagata's gone back out on track, trying to find himself a hole. Can he improve in terms of his time? Does he need to? Oh, look at the driving of the 953 of Stan Noble.
That was sensational.
That was on the limit of how much control you've had. 2 minutes.
And that's how you drive a V8 supercar, on the edge.
2 minutes left to improve your lap time. The 18th place car of Michael Whiting in the overall standings is just starting his final lap time. Now, we'll keep our eyes on the backer shots for this one. El Mako, the big man.
Got 2 greens. Richard Mann's got 2 greens at the moment.
Not quick enough, potentially, to rip off that top time. Matty Scholes has managed to wake his way into the server, I believe, and he's now starting to turn lap times, or was that a bug that we saw across the bottom of the screen? Not 100% sure, ladies and gentlemen. Scholes, he did get in.
I've got a later entry of Mr. Scholes, and he's popping in these...
he's got to get a lap together.
He's going to get a banker in what we call just a nice clean lap, just so he can get on track, so he doesn't have to...
Michael Whiting jumps a long way forwards on his final flying whack. Sagasa, I don't think, has improved, and Sagasa has toast. His qualifying session is done. 40 seconds left on the session. You've got to be on track. You've got to be there in the right spot at the right time. I can tell you Jamie Dyke is on his run to the last corner as well. See if he can get a lap in. He's looking for that free spot in traffic. There was a car behind him, didn't want to impede, has not impeded. He'll reset himself here, get that run off of the final quarter. Who is going to be on top? There were 3 drivers in practice that got their times down into the 46s. Will there only be one when qualifying completes in 5 seconds' time? Dyke will get the lap in by the skin of his teeth. It's got to be a good one. He's a mile down. He's currently in P11 in professional class, the pro drivers. He is known as the pro driver among the Fishy Motorsports clan, the bus driver. Has he got enough? Will he be able to put it together when it counts? Scholes is on the run to the line. He will register a lap time. I don't think it's going to be a great one. No, the lap time was deleted, so he's got an incident point. He's on his first lap now, and I think race control will tell him you can't complete that one. Checkered flags now in the air. Here comes Dyke. There's not a competitor amongst those first 3. And Dave Kirby
has just announced his presence for the race tonight.
I wonder whether or not that was a nervy lap from Dave Kirby. He knew he had pace in the thing, but he didn't know what the outright pace was. And he's jumped it up late on in the piece. Between 47.061 of Connor Nixon in second place to a 47.121 is second to 6th place, I think it is, from Matt Stewart. And that's covered by 600ths of a second, Steve. 600ths of a second for 5 cars.
It is, as we said, it's going to be epic. You know, people think we're crazy when we pick tracks like this, but it's thrown a spanner in the works of a few of them. I've never seen Mr. Dyke that low in the timing table. There's a few names that have popped up near the top end of it, so I reckon it's going to be an epic race. Michael White in 8th. This is crazy.
I quote from Jamie Dyke last week. Yeah, I like that place. That's actually a really good track. Apparently he likes it. The track don't like him.
Everyone's got to have a rough night, but you know what? It's a strategy. We'll see what happens. If I'm not wrong, our lovely producer with the beautiful beard can double check. I'm pretty sure tonight is reverse grid for the second heat. So that's going to be a crucial finishing for the top 10 as well. So that 10th position is very, very sought after for the second race.
Yep, so it's going to be a clean race, I think, will be on the cards for as many drivers as physically possible. But let's talk our top 10 at this point in time. And Braden Sagas has managed to come out on top. He's managed to put the 1.9 entry up on pole. That guy does not put any practice into these things. He's a natural talent in the car. But boy, eventually he'll put a few practice laps, Steve. And I really feel for anyone that wants to compete with that guy once he starts practicing. He's got the pole position here tonight from Knockhill Racing Circuit. Connor Nixon will line up to his outside.
Maybe we can call Connor No Team Nixon.
Connor who?
Connor No Team Nixon.
Connor Nixon will line up to his outside. Bruce Tannock and Aidan Norris are going to be your row number 2. Dave Kirby and Matt Stewart will be row number 3. Jake Jackson, the first of your amateur drivers in P7. Phenomenal qualifying drive from him. 0.02 of a second. Further back is Cam Jones. Michael Whiting in P number, I believe that's 9, followed by Wilkinson, I think, in P10 will round out your top 10. Yeah, indeed it is. Jerry Sanfuentes will be P11. Dawson in 12th. Jamie Dyke, get this, 13th on the starting grid, followed by Sam Noble alongside of him. Blake Delaney will start immediately in behind Dyke, followed by Zachary Vlajbom. We saw flashes in the pan from Vlajbom last season. This could be an opportunity for him tonight. I think he's quite young.
Second position for the AMs. It's a big gap, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's a huge gap. But I really want to see from... he had pace. He had raw, outright pace, Steve, at times.
Yeah.
But there was incidents in the way from Zachary Bladstrom. If he can settle that down, he will be a threat.
Quick question. How on the grid, first position is on the left or right hand side of the track?
I believe it's the right.
I think you're right. Is that a disadvantage or an advantage?
Well, it gives you the inside for turn 1 and turn 3, and I think turn 3 is the critical one.
Yeah. Because we're seeing side by side, so a car that's in 14th is sitting in the 7th grid position as far as the line's concerned. Yeah. So you've got you're splitting them down the line. So anyone on the left, if they can get it into the right a bit further up, it's going to be this start is going to be crucial for all the guys. My gut is telling me, and I'm not usually right, safety car.
Oh, here we go. Right, so that's the qualifying results.
Really
We've run through those. We've got a little bit of time left before we move on. So we'll move on to the second page of those qualifying results if we can, ShiBBy. Yep, there we go. Jamie Dyke, Sam Noble from 13th and 14th. Blake Delaney alongside Vlajbom. David Nash, the third place amateur driver. Alex McManus in 17th and 18th. Richard Mayer, 19th. Cowan, 20th. Ty Delaney is right up there amongst it. Dave Coleman is a long way back in 22nd. He will need to pick his way through, and he will need to look after the car. I think it's Brad Wall and Stephen Martin on 23rd and 24th. We'll throw it back over the page to Peter Pavlovich and Daniel Clutterbuck. Here's where you see a lot of the amateur drivers, Troy Dooley and Travis Daly. Harry Dodds is a mile off any other Pro Series car that he'll be racing, so he's got some traffic to contend with. Kennedy also alongside of him. Hayden, Michael Quash, Stefan Lawrence, safety car driver of Tyson McAvoy. Dylan Gray, I'm not 100% sure of whether or not he's in the server. Adam Hughes, also your safety car driver. And I think there's a couple more at the back end, but we are literally, with those revs rising in the sim, who's going to get the run off of the front row? Who gets into turn number 1 first? Nixon bogs the start. Here goes Tannock. Tannock's absolutely nailed that one. He'll get down the inside. It's a cork in the bottle from Connor Nixon. He's going to enter turn 1, 3 wide, surely. Do they all get through there? There's 3 cars off on the left-hand side. 4 cars. Cowan went off at turn number 1 as well. Wilkinson was one of the cars that was heavily impacted. Another 1.9 sim racing car on the right-hand side. Can you believe they nearly got through there? The 33 car is backwards at the back end of the pack as well. And now they make their way through turn 6 on the opening lap. Cars off on the right-hand side of that shot, and they will settle themselves down. And the 231 car at the back end of the field as Travis Daly is missing a rear wing.
Oh, I don't know how you do that, mate, but that is still crazy. Cars are still going too wide through corners, and even wide, as you can see just then. There's a few little incidents here and there where cars have gone through and lost their rear ends. Not a hell. It doesn't look like a lot of incidental contact and things like that. More like losing the rear ends. But
well, I tell you what.
Go.
It's time to look already at lap number 2, Steve, and with a 47-second lap time, we're going to be talking about that lap, this lap, the other lap. There's 26 laps that are available in our sprint race here tonight, and they settle themselves down. Finally, Nixon off of the front row has dropped back to 5th in class. I wonder whether or not Jake Jackson's got in and how his first lap has unfolded, because he was the first of the amateur drivers. He is, I don't think, anywhere in it. He was the amateur driver. He was the 1.9 car we saw off the road at turn number 1. He is now in P2 of the amateurs, in behind David Nash, and those two are going head-to-head right now. Contact out of the final corner, I can tell you, ShiBBy, as they make their run down the start-finish straight. They will be side by side, and that is for the amateur lead. No, it's going to be Jackson, I believe, alongside San Fuente. So those two not following. Nash is the next car up ahead of them on track, and McManus is the car ahead of those guys as well. So battling left, right, and centre. This is whoa.
This Stewart just at the fastest slide at 47.95, and Jamie Dyke, as we expected, up 7 places. He's got himself in the 6th and 14th, so he's battling way well. There's the biggest loser out of that front section was Connor No Team Nixon, and David Kirby both lost 3 places.
Yeah, so both went backwards. I think Kirby actually was the car that got boxed in behind Nixon for a fair way of that. There's contact nearly out the final corner. I think that might have been Andrew Cowan. I can tell you, first, second, third for the amateur class at this point in time are 12th, 13th, 14th on the road. So they will be in a duel. Jerry Sanfuentes, I think, has just let his teammates Andrew Cowan go past as well. He's now tied into a battle with Dawson. So this is this battle pack we're looking at a little bit down the way. The top 7, 8 cars are all attached to each other up in the front. 9th, 10th, and 11th, a little 3-car breakaway just ahead of these cars that you're watching on screen. And have a look at Ty Delaney, who's fighting his way through the field as well. Down at P10 in the amateurs. I thought he qualified a lot further up than that from inside the lane, and he's got a long way back, and now car in the fence heavily on the left-hand side. That may have blown an engine. That was Aidan Norris.
That looks like he's mistimed his braking and just slammed the gears down to avoid it, to avoid the contact.
I reckon he got contact from behind. I think he might have just gotten a little bit of assistance to be escorted to the left-hand side of things.
Stephen Lawrence has got himself a black flags to serve for an incident. I'm not sure what for, but I guess we'll find out at some point.
Car 52 turns across car 231, causing car 231 to spin. Lap 1, turn 4 was the reason that one was issued to Stephen Lawrence. And we'll now keep our eyes up and down the field, but it is going to be standing room only. First, second, third, fourth, all underneath the blanket. What are your thoughts, Steve? What are your thoughts?
I'm flabbergasted. It's just watching these guys. I'm glad I'm not out there for one, but there you go. Hold your brakes, son. Hold your brakes.
Was that Connor Nixon? That is Connor Nixon. No, it's not. It's not Connor Nixon. My apologies. It's Peter Pavlovich.
That's Peter Pavlovich at the moment.
I think he's slowed.
It looks like he did. The ladder is blinked out. So the problem is that you spin or come off here. You have a look at the amount of cars, how close they are. You're going to lose like 10 to 20 spots if you come off. It's like it's inevitable.
I think it was Harry Dodds that got spun.
Yeah. Yep.
Because
so
it did
too
look
wide
like
coming through there.
A Frog Leap Juice car.
Taking it wide.
He's left enough room for Pavlovich on the inside, but at some stage he's got to turn into the corner. And Pavlovich is absolutely missed the apex.
He's understeered through there.
Well, he's just missed the apex. I wouldn't say necessarily he's understeered. I think he's absolutely just missed the corner.
Yeah.
Well, Ty Delaney's had an incident as well. Lap 5, turn 1 was the call through to race control, so I think he's off the circuit yet again. Or actually he's on track, so nothing majorly wrong for Ty Delaney, but there was an issue.
Yep.
0-20.
He's just keeping the drivers around him in check, which he should be doing. It's good to hear Ty actually calling things in and
he sounded very under control on the radio. The thing that I loved about the way that he called that in, there was no fluster in it from Ty Delaney.
It was just like, this is it. I'm calling it in, and that's it. Very straight to the point.
I mean, when you play Delaney's,
I really like the way Bruce Tannock drives. I like his style. He's a very smooth driver, but I guess he just gets into the vortex, and we did last season. this season he's changed his approach a little bit, but I like look how smooth that is.
Yep, you got to be up at the front. Braden Sagas has got control of this one. Remember, this is going to turn into a reverse grid of the top 10 for race number 2. So even though these guys are fighting in this position, they're going to be reversed when we come to race number 2. And that start is going to be mayhem, Steve.
That was a hello then. Just saying, don't forget I'm still here. We've got, how many odd laps, 15 odd laps. I'm still here waiting for you to make a mistake. And that's usually Bruce, the way he drives. He usually puts his nose in there and taps and says hello and lets you know that if you do make a mistake, I'll let you through. Oh, Dikey was just getting some pressure then.
Yeah, I can tell you the leader so far of the V8 Supercars Combined Series was Jamie Dyke after first race last weekend. Blake Delaney was P2, Cam Jones. Bruce Tannock was in 4th. And with the other 3 drivers not having great sessions, this is a phenomenal opportunity for Bruce Tannock to accept the series lead after round number 1. This is going to be probably a drop round for quite a few of the drivers up and down the field. So even if the drivers, if they know they're going to miss a race further on in the series, they've got to grab points. Cam Jones has gone off.
Tannock has really done well then, kept it clean, given him enough room to let the car in front of him correct. But that was spectacular. That'll go on the highlight reel.
Yep, here comes another move as well. Somebody else is lining up a car in the middle of things. Dave Kirby is who we watch on board with at the moment. Was it Cam Jones that was getting lined up by someone? It was Connor Nixon was trying to line somebody up in the middle of that, and this is Jamie Dyke on the rear bumper of Connor Nixon, and he's getting a little bit of a hurry along from the next car in behind him, which is a 1-9 car. So there's a lot going on up and down the field, and struggling to see. Was Nixon a little bit further down? Okay, I see it. Yeah, the pro standings are at the bottom of the tree at the moment.
Yeah,
I was looking at the top.
Nixon did drop down. He's made himself back up a little bit because Jamie Dyke's up to 5th now because he was at the 7th. So both him and Jamie have gone up 2 spots or 3 spots in the last few minutes.
I'll tell you, Jake Jackson is starting to pull away, ladies and gentlemen, from Dave Nash, and Andrew Cowan still hangs on to P3 currently from our amateur division here tonight at this point in time, but Jackson is starting to stretch his legs. The problem for Jake Jackson is he's now caught up a little bit in a bottleneck as cars are fighting in the next couple of cars just ahead of him, as Cam Jones just goes ahead and sets the fastest lap of the race with a 47.516. Of course, not quite the qualifying times, but he did catch our outright race leader on that lap. He took a few tenths of a second out of him. Bruce Tannock just filling that hole in between the two at the moment. So it'll be interesting to see if Tannock can hang on to that and how aggressive Jones will get. I can tell you at this point in time, Jake Jackson is trying to have a fight with Sam Noble, who is our amateur race leader versus pro driver sitting in P10. So Jake Jackson wants himself a top 10 overall. He starts on pole for the next race. That might just be signed, sealed, and delivered for the amateur race lead if he can hang on to that one.
Yeah. I'm just looking also at a couple of the pro drivers are really having a bad night out there. McManus is really struggling. He's sitting out in 19th at the moment, and the other one was Wilkinson. He's dropped 14 places, so he obviously had that incident earlier on. Too wide.
And that's Zachary Flashbomb from Alpha Venturi Racing was down the inside of Richard Mayer, it looks like. And that is amateur versus professional driver as well. So
even the gold medal wiggle there.
Doesn't even need the gold medal from Zachary Flashbomb's thing because he's got it in his profile picture. And this continues to be the battle. Amateur race leader versus tail end of the top 10 in the pro field. But now the critical factor for Jake Jackson is, have a look at the next car on the road. That 911 car, David Nash, even though it's slightly damaged, that is your second place in amateur. So he's got to try and get through here.
100%. Oh, we've got a black flag for Pavlovich and a black flag for Scholes.
Yep, so they're coming in thick and fast at this point in time.
Tannock having a bit of a session on the grass.
Yeah,
And
he's
where's
come
he
back
come
out.
back in? He's come back out where?
59. Oh, it's
39.
actually, he's called it in. It might be contact with Cam Jones. Or it could be contact with Nixon. Because Nixon's now up in a P2.
Okay. Something has been called in.
Yeah, so this is going up hill through... Oh, he was never making the corner on that line.
I think either of them had a poor line there, eh? But I guess you've got to take it back a little bit before that to see why Tannock was so wide, whether it was pushed out wide or what the case is.
He went to the left-hand side because he's trying to open up the corner. He's trying to allow them both to get through there too wide. I just don't understand why Jones was so far to the right.
Yeah.
Because he was a long way to the right.
Pace on Tannock out of that corner there. He just slingshot out of it. And now he's... Oh, is he going to make it stick? Is he going to make it stick?
This is down the inside of Blake. Delaney it is, the Fishy Motorsport car is
Delaney's
outside.
She's come
And this is P8 and P9 on the racetrack, followed by amateur 1 and 2 as well. So Jake Jackson is going to try and defend onto his race lead at this point in time. Here comes Nash. He's going to show the nose to the inside. Now Tannock's trying to defend from Jackson. Jackson all out of sorts, and Dave Nash steals your race lead for the amateur division. Sanfuentes is a pro driver trying to squeeze his way through. He's been forced to back out of that one, and he's now got Sam Noble on his rear bumper. Jackson loses the race lead after trying to race it out to get a little bit further forwards in terms of race points. He didn't need to fight for that one. Jackson just needed to pull it up. And now Sanfuentes is going to block Sam Noble over on the right-hand side. I didn't think that Jerry was going to lay it down and let Sam Noble come on through. He squeezed him all the way through. Now he's going to look for the crisscross. Who's Jerry? Does he get the drive off the final corner? No, and Sam Noble comes away with that one.
This is epic everywhere that you look. If we would need viewers out there to give you a full aspect of this, you would need 4 screens on your TV screen right now at 4 different sections of this track, because there's literally action everywhere from the top to the very bottom. And Mr. ShiBBy Howard is doing an amazing job finding all the action for you to see. The passes that we're seeing are spectacular. I can't believe that we're in lap 19 and we're still seeing 2 wide in some corners.
Well, I think we're only 17, Steve. Apologies, 2 laps before
17, yep, sorry.
Still seeing these guys go head-to-head, and Jake Jackson has now got the headlights ablaze. He wants to get back by. He's hungry to catch back up and pass Mr. David Nash. But Mr. David Nash, in the only ramped entry, he will want to only ramp that car off of the podium at the end of the race, I can tell you that. Jamie Dyke has managed to jump his way back up into P4. So he's doing a phenomenal job from a lot further down at the earlier stages tonight. Jake Jackson's off the road again, ladies and gentlemen. He's just run wide. Sam Noble's going to sneak through on the inside of him. And now he's a long way off the rear bumper of Dave Nash. That's going to be an enormous amount of time. He was faster than Noble. He's got his way past Noble, and now Noble's back through.
And you got 2 wide behind them as well.
And that's Jerry Sanfuentes and Andrew Cowan. So those are teammates. This will probably let each other go style of situation. They're not racing each other. On the left-hand side of your screen, Andrew Cowan, amateur, on now becomes the right-hand side of your screen. It's Jerry Sanfuentes, pro-class driver. So it's the battles in between the class, Steve. You've got to be careful. There's no reason, in a lot of cases, to be pushing as hard as you possibly can be and be all over those sorts of guys. You don't need to make contact with them. You've got to get the passes done at some point, but no contact.
I'm just going to sit back and watch and let you go, because I'm loving your commentating at the moment, and I don't want to interrupt you when you're on such a roll. And it's spectacular. Every time I want to open my mouth, something else pops up.
Well, all right. So who's up there in the race lead? It's still Braden Sagassa, and Sagassa's now leading by a fair chunk of time, it looks like. Yeah, he's got a little bit of chunk of time. He's got through on some lap traffic as well.
Yeah, he's got 3.2 seconds on Connor Nixon, and then Connor Nixon's got Jones right behind him, and you're looking all yellows all the way through from there onwards.
Well, have a look at these guys fighting through a little bit further down. That's Dave Kirby and Andrew Nash. That's another car. Dave Nash, sorry, will put in between himself and Jake Jackson. There's now 2 cars in the middle there. And that's actually Dave Kirby going, I want pole. I want to be on the inside on the run to turn number 1 in race number 2.
Well, that puts Nashy on pole at the moment.
No, Nashy's in P9, mate.
Are you sure?
Yeah, he's in P9.
Oh, yeah, sorry, you're right. Yeah. Nice. He'll be stoked with that finish.
Oh, he will be. He'll be over the moon. Now, keeping our eyes on this little battle pack that's evolving as well is Coleman's not involved in this one. He is having a torrid old time, is Dave Coleman, all the way down near the back of the Pro Field.
Off track there.
So, Blake Delaney is off the track again.
Delaney's kissed the wall somewhere as he's come through.
This is over Clark. So that is 5 and 6 over the crest of the hill. And that's Stuart Whiting. That's Michael Whiting letting him through. And then he goes to pull the car up and loses the rear.
That's a shame. I believe we've got another fishy off the track as well. Mr. Dyke. Yeah. Is maybe the fishy setup isn't quite up to scratch tonight.
Well, I wonder whether or not these guys are burning through rear tyres, Steve. Because this is such a loaded setup. Here we go, down the inside on Cowan. And then it's Flashbomb, who's trying to go through as well. And Alan Dawson's going to grab himself a spot away
That's still not finished, though. They're too wide across there with Cowan and...
Yep, that's Zachary Flashbomb down the inside.
And Richard is just sneakily thinking, I get a piece of this action too.
Well, Richard Mare's not even fighting these guys. Different class again. But yeah. Andrew, Mr. Kiawi, you have just been Flashbomb.
Is that a thing now?
That's the thing now. It's not sending it from Zachary Flashbomb. It is the Flashbomb.
Yeah, he's never going to make some pace on that corner then. It's just coming right on there. You're just closing that corner off completely and you lose the pace coming out of it.
He's still in P4. This battle between himself and Flashbomb, this is for P3 in class. As we wind down, there's 2 laps left.
He's there. Here we go.
Richard Mare's going to just stay out of this, and Cowie's going to go very deep, very wide at the last corner. He's looking for the run down to turn number 1. Flashbomb drifted a little bit wide off the last corner. Now they'll take this on the run down to turn number 1. Cowan's got ahead. You've been Flashbomb, now you've been Cowie.
And it's still not over, people. They're still switching across. So he's got the exit on here. Depends on how Cowie gets at the top of this next corner.
And Flashbomb's going to steal it back at turn number 3 down the inside. Now Mare's crawling all over them. There's another car in the background. I think that's Stephen Martin that's bought a ticket into this. And Jake Jackson is on the infield and missing his bonnet. That's Jake Jackson there. We just caught him in the background of that shot on a night where he put the car so far up the grid.
He's just called that in as well, so there was obviously some contact somewhere across there.
And that was looking like a massive points haul for Jake Jackson.
So, I don't know about that one, mate.
Is that Sam Noble? That's Sam Noble. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Sam could have done much. Sam's still on track at this point. He might not be in control, but yeah, he's still on track. He's on the black and white. Oh, that's going to be a tough one for RC. I don't want to get involved in that.
I don't think that Jake will have anything he can really do. They can't really penalise that. I mean, that's not a hole. Jake should have lifted.
Yeah, exactly. That's my thoughts as well. Because he was still on track. He's on the black and white colour bit, still designated track, and yeah. Anyway,
something's happened. I think to our race. No, I think the race might be over. I think our race 1 might actually be over. I think time has actually expired. So yeah, but the checkered flag's actually out. Checkered flag is actually out. So race has been run and done from Braden Scasser, who just drove past the flag stand, and there was a checkered flag in the hand of Barry the Flag Marshal. So Braden Sagassa is going to bring this one home. The white flag, ladies and gentlemen, at the top of your thing is because 26. We finished the race in 25 laps, not 26, because that's when we went time certain.
The only negative out of all this was how his fight there with the other guys around him. The negative about that is I'm going to hear about it all week, about how awesome it was 2 and 3 wide. And you know what? I've got to give it to him for the next few minutes. It was awesome, but I don't want to hear about it for the rest of the week. Here we go.
Righto, so the results from heat number 1 after 20 minutes of high stress, high intensity V8 supercar racing, and the 1-9 driver from Braden Sagassa will take out your race 1 victory by 3 seconds over Cam Jones. Connor Nixon will bring it home in 3rd place. Matt Stewart in P4, Michael Whiting P5, Bruce Tannick in P6, and David Nash all the way from the boat ramp will pick up P7 and the win in the amateur class. He's not going to start off the front row. He's going to start a little bit further forward. Jamie Dyke in P8 will start off alongside of him, Dave Kirby and Blake Delaney. So your front 3 cars for this second race will be Fishy Motorsports drivers. Jerry Sanfuentes, P11, Sam Noble, P12, Alan Dawson, 13th. Blashbomb did get P2 over Andrew Cowan, who'll finish in P3 in the amateurs. Richard Mayer and Alex McManus, Stephen Martin, Dave Coleman, and Daniel Clutterbuck round out your top 20. Are we sure 20 minutes went past? When can you miss it?
It felt like 5. That was spectacular. I hope you guys out there in Viewerland are enjoying that, because the action was aplenty. If there's someone you want to know something about, let us know. It's spectacular for us, and it's hard to give everyone a bit of airtime. So just reach out to us. How much time we got? We've got 1:27. No. Minute 30. That's the lap. We've got about 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, we've got 8 minutes. Can we just throw to a quick commercial break so we can just grab a quick drink of water, because I'm out of breath? Or unless you want to take it.
You go get a drink, and I'll do a bit of chin wagging with Nathan. We'll talk about some of our sponsors and what we've got going on at the moment. How's that sound? Nathan, do you want to make yourself well known?
Oh, yeah, that works for me.
That works for you. So, people out there, we've always got to thank our sponsors. It's what gets us through. We're looking at Racecraft, our round sponsor, Dragon RC, our boys at Warren and Brown Tools, 120 years of tools, manufacturing those guys, and the best torque wrenches in the world. Get onto some of their tools if you can. And you guys like losers like Promo Department, who are actually me. And then you've got other people out there that help us on a weekly basis. Toyo Sim, spectacular people that have got some really cool entry level. Well, they call it entry level. I reckon it's sensational. A sensational product. We used it at our expo that we did at the Motor Classica. So that sort of stuff is really cool to get out there and use it. It's affordable. It's not out of the budget, but spectacular quality product. Nate, who else are we missing? Racecraft. While you've got them up on screen, people that are watching, please like and subscribe. I know it's been a busy day out there and everyone's been watching the 24-hour and all this other stuff that's out there. Please like and subscribe. You've got the opportunity to win the rig you've just seen on there, the seat, the rig itself, valued at $1,800. And anyone from our first subscriber to our 1,000th subscriber is eligible to win it. So pop in and say hello, like and subscribe. We've got our Channel 31 show on, and we just finished filming the round 9 from last season with the championship round, which is split into 2 shows. So that'll be coming up in the coming weeks, and then we'll be going fresh with season 1 of 2023 with some really cool things that we're going to be doing. A bit of a hint, Top Gear has got themselves a Stig and a reasonably priced car. We've got a concept very similar to it, but it won't be the Stig. We've got our own Stig, and I won't say more about it. You will hear about it in the coming weeks, and you'll know about what's going on. It should be pretty cool on screen to watch. The Channel 31 show will actually be streamed on YouTube as well, so all you people that can't have access to Channel 31 and the app, it will be coming part of our weekly shows, coming out on probably on a Friday night or a Tuesday night. We're not sure what night we're going to put the review show on, but we will do that, and that way everyone can watch it and check it out. and we'll put links on social media and everything like that. Nathan, I haven't heard your voice yet. How do you think that race went, mate?
Chaotic. From behind the scenes here, guys, I start sweating. Like, hands down. There is so much to try and keep your eyes on. As you guys get to see the live action, I am heavily focused on a bunch of numbers moving around on a screen to try and show you what we need to show you. That was chaotic, to say a little bit, and it's probably not as bad as what we were all thinking. So, great drive from the whole field. No safety car. Very surprised.
Yeah, very surprised. But you know what? We did Mid-Ohio first season out, beginning of last year when we first started, and everyone said it was going to be chaotic and safety car after safety car, and the guys surprised us just like they did tonight. I think it's a fun track to drive. It's tough as hell, and it provides an awesome show. I hope people out there are enjoying it. What are you guys thinking of the track and of the action at the moment? You know, we'd love to hear what you guys think. Get back to it and just ask questions. We're ready to answer when we can.
Are you ready to answer questions from our viewers out there? Some of their questions could be difficult, mate. You might have to phone a friend.
Let's get ready to answer questions.
I will answer any question out there as long as it doesn't incriminate me.
Just remember terms of service for streaming as well, guys. Anything that's not that nice of a question, you will be getting a 5 to 10 minute mute.
And, you know, those sort of questions that we can't put on the public server, just DM me.
I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, we've actually got our race number 1 winner in here, Braden Sagasta.
Hello.
Gassy, did you actually turn some practice laps this week?
Absolutely, yeah, the first time, so I thought, you know what, I might give this truck a go because it has very minimal corners, and I thought I might go decent around here.
Mate, wait until we get you on an oval track. That's got even less corners. Mate, in terms of things, that's obviously gone quite well. There was a few drivers that set sub 47 lap times during the practice session, but only one managed to pull it off in terms of qualifying, man. Now we look forward to race number 2. You're going to we start off of the 5th row of the grid in 10th position, inverted grid. Are you expecting... We managed to get through race 1 without a safety car. Race 2, however.
Yeah. I think with the inverted grid, it might cause some calamity. That's my predictions.
You pretend you're going to do some diving, mate? Is that what you're saying?
I'm going to play it safe. I just want to survive, and it'll be like, okay, if I make positions, I'm happy. Did I know there'd be a few people that might make some, you know, half-hearted dive bombs, but I'm going to stay back, and if people go off, I'm just going to take the positions when I can.
Nice.
I can tell you that the ladies and gentlemen, currently the race safety cars are actually turning laps, and they've actually set the fastest lap of the session so far. So whoever's out there in the BMW pace car, apparently it's not just for pacing the field. Apparently it does have some torque in behind it.
With,
well, hello, mate. In terms of
McElroy.
things, minute and a half here left to go. What's the strategy of race number 2? Expecting a pit stop. If there's a safety car, does that change the mathematics? What's the race strategy?
That's the thing. We haven't really gone through that. We thought there would be a bit more drama in race 1, but I think we're just going to get the calculator out and just pop some numbers in and hope for the best.
Mate, you've got a minute left before you get back into race mode, so I think if you're going to break out the calculator, you've only got 60 seconds. You better go and get involved with that, mate. Good luck.
Thank you, mate. Have a good time, guys.
In the safety car tonight was Mr. Tyson McAvoy coming out to show us that he actually can drive. I think he was trying to prove a point, and he did a 46.98.
A question that did come in from...
Yeah, can I answer this one? Can I answer this one?
Yeah.
We've got a... I think I can see Connor No Team Nixon.
G'day guys, how are you?
How are you, buddy?
Yeah, good.
How's this?
Yeah, 2 questions.
You didn't have questions, did you?
Yeah, no. Yeah, all right. Just smoked the tires at the end, and yeah, that was it. But yeah, no, it was good.
Too hard on them.
Yeah, too much lead foot, to be honest. Yeah, it was a good battle though. It was definitely a good battle.
Oh,
How
there's
were the
battles
rears?
everywhere, man. It was crazy.
I'm assuming the rears are a loaded tire around here, Connor. They hang on. Was it the rears actually just going away as the race went on?
Oh, it was a bit of a mix. I had to. At the start, I smoked the rears, and at the start smoked the rears, then actually got touched as well, then smoked them even more. So that didn't help. So could have been that, but I was adjusting roll bars and brake bias at the same time. So yeah,
mate,
that
you
kind of helped.
Gritting.
You got about 45
Mate.
seconds or so until your race
Get
ready.
in there, grit up, mate, and good luck.
Roger. Thank you.
Have fun, mate.
And the question coming in from chat is, why is Scotty the GOAT? Quickly, ShiBBy, before you disable that microphone.
Because he's
I'm not allowed to answer this
He's
one.
the greatest of all things. That's what it stands for, right, isn't it?
I thought maybe he's grown a new goatee.
No, GOAT stands for greatest of all time, Steve. That's
Oh,
what
Oh, not
Yeah,
all
oh,
things. Oh, I thought it was all things. I had some other answers that were definitely not TOS.
Yeah, I got someone in here saying greatest of all turds.
Yeah, that one will work.
And alternatively, apparently I'm really good at Goat Simulator, so that could be as well.
All right,
Okay.
we are finalising
Righto.
the grid.
We are going to the race at this point in time. The top 10 has been inverted. Who will make it through? Turn number 1. And off of the front rows, the fishy drivers don't get away on the right-hand side of the screen all the way. But Jamie Dyke and Blake Delaney have had a reasonable surge. And it's actually going to be Dave Nash who's right up there. Tannick's grabbed a bunch of spots. Made contact. I think it was with David Kirby through turn 1. And there's the chaos. Zach Fleischbaum has gone around. And I don't know. Oh, there's a KFC car that's about to impact the wall at high velocity on the right-hand side. He's around, and the rest of the field continue to try and make their way through. Was Pavlovich. There was backwards. Jerry Fuente's just had a big wiggle coming through the uphill section. Jackson is surging. That's Jackson down the inside. He's trying to grab places nice and early on. If he's going to set sail and try and catch up to Dave Nash, he's got a long night ahead of him, but it's going to be Delaney, Dyke, Nash, Tannick here, top 5.
Nick's done well. He's nice and clean. These guys are off the start. You see,
Oh, there's a car backwards. There's a car backwards out of the last corner. And there's somebody trying to rejoin the track as well over on the right-hand side. That's Alex McManus. It was Michael Quash was the TMX car that was backwards out of the last corner. And the Triple 3 car's just gone through side by side with the 11. They've just made door-to-door contact as until the 11. And Jackson got through. There's 2 more cars behind them.
There goes that engine. There goes that engine. Tyres also called something in. I'd say that car is.
I think it was Ty Delaney. I think it was Travis Daly that called it in the 231.
Yeah, you're correct, mate. You're correct.
So they will settle themselves in. Steve Martin.
Oh, we've got our first car for the night. Wow.
I think I strongly recommend that everyone settles themselves down, because otherwise you're going to have a drive. Oh, here we go!
Oh. Was that under safety car condition?
That was. Yeah, so they're all trying to get themselves back.
Okay. The safety car hasn't come out yet. That's why they were still battling at that point.
Well, no, so positions are locked, Steve. Positions still get
Okay,
locked
so-
this time. But the problem is they were side by side at the point, and by the time the safety car was called, the drivers would have had a lot of issues with recognizing that it was a safety car, because they were already loaded up on the run through to turn 1. There was nothing they could have done to have prevented what happened there. So,
Yeah.
and I think Netcode got involved, which made things worse.
Yeah, 100%. The looks like is that Brad Wall right behind the safety
Yep.
car? He's getting passed around. He's getting away from them. One thing I did notice when we come after our first few corners, Blake took the lead and took off, and then Jamie took the line where it was hardest for people to get around. Like he parked his bus in the middle of the apex, and you can see that he was giving no room anywhere at all. There was no way people were going to pass him. Have a look as you can see the picture coming down the straight. The way he positioned his car, there was no way people were going to get around.
Kirby on the right-hand side of things doesn't get a great getaway. Nash got an amazing launch from that third row of the grid, gets through, and Tanik was chasing it down in here. Managed to get through. We've got to watch Kirby, because Kirby gets escorted off the road. I thought it was on the left-hand side of that shot. But have a look at the chaos that unfolds in behind.
Yeah. There was a lot going on. Well, he's missing his rear scoop.
He is.
Yeah.
Peter Pavlovich, the super sedan.
So it looks like Kirby just
watch where Kirby goes from this left-hand side, this first corner, because everyone's just sort of bunched up trying to shuffle it down the inside. I think Tanik just barely trips over the curb. Kirby was trying to pinch him tight, and Tanik recognised it, ran a little bit tight. Oh, they've all got through there, actually. I thought Kirby was going off the shore.
Across the back that they've come down. Yeah. Oh, and there was a nice bit of contact there, I think, between Brad and I think it was Stefan Lawrence.
Apologies, ladies and gentlemen, for the cars that are dropping in and out the back of the server. For those of you who don't know, iRacing, you can buy the best processor in the world. iRacing runs, if you've got 8 cores within your processor, iRacing will only run on one of them, so you need a top card and a top tier processor with high speed single cores. So that's why, even though our producer has a phenomenal computer, the amount of cars and the raw volume of graphical data that's going through his processor is preventing all of the cars from being shown in the background. So that's what you're actually seeing. It is actually, there's a lot of technical stuff that goes on in the background. So
yeah, 100% there is. Jess McKenham, we are at Knockhill race circuit, mate.
Jesse, that's Jesse McMenamin.
Yeah, asking the question. Anyone else that got questions? There's a few people watching still tonight. Hopefully you're enjoying it and loving it like we are. I'm probably a little bit starstruck tonight because what I'm seeing out there is amazing. And Scotty is just in a natural flow, so you'll hear me just shut up.
Hang on, Steve. Am I like your wife? Because you just shut up and I'm talking?
No, I can feel her breath on the back of my neck when I shut up. It's like, she just walked over my grave. I need to shut up.
Hey, mate, I need more of this. Steve in the commentary booth. It's the only time I get to control the flow of you.
Yeah, here's Cowie on. Is that on Quash? Yeah, it is.
So it was Quash that got escorted off the road on the left-hand side of things. I saw this in the back of the shot live, but you guys wouldn't have been able to see it. So this is the replay that we're going on board. We were sort of just running it back through a few times. So Quash gets tripped over at some points. The TMX car.
That's a Fuentes. No, Cowie on the outside. There is Cowie there. Yep.
So laps will trickle away here. Safety car is going to come in at the tail end of the chroma. So it just tickles over to start lap 6.
What was that? Was that Quash turning over the top of the car? Didn't realise the car was there. It's a bit hard to tell.
The edge of the road, Steve.
Yeah.
You can't go off the road. I think we've seen quite a few cars just continue to track out to the edge of the track, but the track gets real tight with where the lines run through there.
Yeah.
So
this track is slippery. It is slippery. It's once you overheat those rears, and you've done Steve Martin.
So it's a 333 car that goes through, but it spins.
Oh, nose plate. Oh, he's hit that twice.
Yeah, so Brad Wall's got involved in that one, and I think that might have been Stefan Lawrence. So it is Stefan Lawrence or Skull in the back of the field.
Yeah, Steve Martin needs a rhinoplasty after that.
I think he's also going to get treated for smoke inhalation. So this is the incident.
Oh, definitely.
It was Jake Jackson. So it was Jake Jackson that was immediately behind these guys. He's done a lot better there to deal with that one. And ladies and gents, we are not going green this time, we got one more lap. Because the safety car should have accelerated by now and hasn't done so. So we will be going one more lap and go green. This is Skullsy. So it was not Stefan Lawrence, it was Matty Skulls. And for my truck hopes, I hope that this is what happens to him tomorrow night. No, I'm kidding.
Have a look at that.
You know what you needed?
Yeah, I love the way these V8s look on these tracks. It's just so realistic. It's just spectacular. This is not a game, obviously, people. This is a simulation. And these guys drive it just like they would drive in the real world. They're very professional. They do all the preparations and everything like that. And to watch it with the way it screams is spectacular in my eyes.
I want to say shout out actually to Dave Nash. Dave Nash, can you please get Matty Skulls and Only Rams V8 Supercar, not just his NASCAR truck? Because that's about the only way he was getting out of that one was over a ramp. What is the Stadium Super Trucks? When are we getting the Pro 2 lights in the season? Is that a next season thing? Surely we can get that. Anyway, safety car has now peeled back off to pit lane. Blake Delaney has control of the field, and it's going to be Dave Nash in P3. There's the Only Rams car, and the one place he doesn't need a ramp. And there goes Blake Delaney. He's going to launch it off of there and gets a great run over teammate Jamie Dyke. Here comes Dave Nash. He's got complete control of the amateur portion of the field. And Bruce Tanek might just get a little bit aggressive. Here comes Sagassa. No, it's Stewart down the inside. He'll pick one off over Connor Nixon. It'll be Sagassa that's the next couple of cars back on the road. And he'll try and do what he can to cut his way through. He's on for a round win here as Sagassa. But Tanek's also had a reasonable result in that first race. But the points, the bulk of the points here, Steve, they get awarded for race number 2.
Correct. It's going to be an interesting finish. I think so far Tanek is looking really good. Nash is actually looking really good too. So it's that was a lot of air out across that bit.
I can tell you, I think it's a 0-2-0 of Aiden Norris, I think, is off the track again. I just caught a flash of it. There's another one of the cars that's way off the track. There's a juice car that's all out of shape on the way to the last corner as well. Was that? Who was that? Was that Harry Dodds? Might be Harry Dodds. So it was Troy Dooley and him that might have had contact. And a TMX car's gone around again. It's Clutterbuck, who's just gone off, and it was nearly off the nose of Jake Jackson. And this is what Braden Sagassa's looking like at the run to the last corner. Cam Jones up in behind Connor Nixon. He's going to get a sport aside in a moment. He's defending for all money. But that rear view mirror is now starting to get filled with Braden Sagassa. His teammates were having a lot of trouble late on in the piece, as were most of the field with rear tyres in that first race. And even though we're 11 minutes into the second race, Steve, a lot of that's been on a safety car.
It has. They're going to get their rhythm. They're starting to get their rhythm now. You can see guys are starting to go off a little bit less, starting to get a bit cleaner. Even though that car back there was wiggling like crazy.
That was Cowie. I saw the purple flash and I was like, that's Cowie.
That was just too much jangle by the look of it.
Mate, and that looked like him trying to play a solo at the pub. Just keep the audience going. That's another one of the 33
Alex
cars.
has gone off again. Yep.
And Blage Bomb is driving phenomenally. Gets himself another place away from Zachary Blashbaum. There's Jake Jackson on his run back through the field. He's in P3 of the amateur. His next car on the road is Andrew Cowie is currently sitting in second in the amateurs. So he's on for a whole big bag of points at this stage.
Yeah. Cowie's actually sitting in 12th overall at the moment. He's up 3 places. The biggest mover is Wilkinson. He's up 12 places.
Well, starting to settle themselves down finally.
Yeah.
Finally, Steve, we're getting some settling. I really want to keep an eye on what Braden Sagassa is doing, because I have a feeling that him, Cam Jones, and Connor Nixon, that is going to devolve into absolute mayhem at any sudden moment, because Sagassa's got pace in that car, and he wants to be able to show it, and he really can't at the moment. Stephen Martin's off track. Is that Ty Delaney or Blake Delaney's off track? Blake Delaney's the car that's off track. So something's happened to our race leader, and I think it's lap traffic that's caused it.
I'm not sure as well, because Dikey's just called something in as well for a bump and run too.
Hang on, that's David Nash now that's crawling all over the rear bumper of Delaney. This is your amateur class leader going for outright honours. They've both missed the corner. Delaney's going to run in wide and Dyke will slip through to take the race lead. Entered the corner third, exits it with the race lead.
That was spectacular racing, and I love that. That's what these cars are designed for. Isn't that what SVG does? Just a little bit of a tap in the door
He's
frame.
got to be careful though, because he's about running off track.
Yeah.
So. My word.
Here, what do we got? We've got Dyke out front now, and Blake Delaney by Nash, by Tennant, by Whiting, by Stewart, by Nixon. So Nixon's dropped a few places off that. Followed by Jones, Sagassa, Dawson, Muir, Cowan, Coleman. Coleman's having a bit of a nightmare tonight.
So I can tell you, Bruce Tannock is actually starting to close in on our leaders after they ran that slow lap last time by. So he's there and thereabouts. But remember, he's got Nash in the middle of them. If I'm Nash, I'm getting out of the way. Forget that. There's no point. There's no point. I'm not racing him.
Exactly. But you know what? His adrenaline is pumping. And if you do give up that spot, do you become lazy again and just start dropping down the field?
Somebody's been awarded a penalty for passing the safety car. So there's a safety car infringement that's happened all in the middle of this.
Yeah, that was by T. Daly.
Travis Daly, I think.
Yep, Travis Daly. And also T. Kennedy got a black flag as well.
Here we go, 3 wide in the last corner. He's slicing it down the inside. Here comes Cam Jones, and this is all bottlenecking in behind Connor Nixon. Sagassa got a great run out of the last corner. Jones will cover the inside line. Sagassa's got pace. Remember, he set it on pole by an absolute mountain of time around this track.
That was almost a left and right switch. I thought he was going to get it back at one point then, but he just lost pace coming out of that corner.
It was where Jones parked it. Jones caught a whole piece of that curb on the run through turn number 4 there, I think it was. And now have a look at these guys, and that's Aidan Norris into Brad Wall. And they'll trip over each other. They'll both continue.
Brad will be livid.
Is that a pro driver as well? Jake Jackson's picked up a penalty.
Yep, he was black flagged. Alex McManus has dropped out due to packet loss.
I can tell you, Steve, I do not want to be in that race control booth tonight. At all.
No, but look, I don't want to be in that race control booth any night. It is not a job I would like to be involved in any way, shape or form.
And Tyson Triggerfinger McAvoy is down there and looking at a whole bunch of stuff, as is Barbara. Yep. And
Greg Barbie Barber.
I've no idea what Jackson's penalty is for. I didn't quite see it was an incident. I know it was a race incident. And we should get an update of a whole bunch of stuff. Right, lap 1, turn 1, 57 and 33. Contact causing spin, and I don't know who's actually caused that one between 57 and 33, but I'll see if we'll have a penalty. It's Flash Bomb. So it's T. Kennedy, so that was the first incident that was delivered.
Yeah. So 33 is launched into him. Ooh. I love that picture that Nathan just gave us of those guys coming through that chicane and the way the inside and outside tyres are lifting is absolutely spectacular. Too wide. Here we go. Too wide again. Clean.
Here we go.
Is he?
He's going to trip over him. This will prevent the opportunity for Brayden Sagassa as Connor Nixon runs Cam Jones wide. Is he going to yield? Is Cam Jones going to get out of there? Or is it going to be down the inside? Here comes Sagassa, gets the job done at turn 1. Now, the ex-teammates will go head-to-head. And now, nearly 3 wide on the run down into turn number 1. And they will settle themselves down. I think that's Dave Coleman. And I want to say that looks like Jake Jackson. It's Wilkinson. So Wilkinson got turned around from inside the top 10 in race number 1 on the run to turn number 1 and never truly recovered. Now he's off the tail end of the pack. Aidan Norris has just picked himself up a penalty as well, and we're still waiting for more updates.
So that's Dave Kirby with them. And here we go up front with Jamie Dyke, followed by Delaney. And followed by, would you believe it, David Nash, who's driving out of his skin tonight.
I'd say this is going to be a flash-in-the-pan result from Nash. I don't expect him back up here. He showed pace. I definitely think he will get escorted into the pro class for next season. But
Well, he had a real good night on Tuesday night as well, didn't he?
Was Nashy on Tuesday night?
Oh, maybe it was the other night. Remember me and you interviewed him?
Sunday. It was Sunday last week.
Sunday,
Yeah.
It's all bleeding into one day for me.
Mate, you only commentate one night a week.
No, I actually did two this week, but it's just my week is blurred. Look at that. Nixon and Sagasa. Pixie is he's going to be pushed out wide. Is he going to lose that spot again? Nice
no
work.
love lost.
Nah,
Old
not
friends,
at all.
Not anymore, says Braden Sagasa. He gets the job done. And ultimately, Cam Jones is going to have a lot more trouble trying to get past Nixon in these last couple laps. Potentially straight down the inside. That's a lap car. That's why. It's getting straight out of the way. So that's great job by them. They're doing their absolute utmost to get out of the way. Let these crack on. And what is a terrible night to be a lapped car.
Oh, mate, and I'll give you that from experience. It is shocking to be a lap car in here.
Well, it's shocking to be a lapped car on any track, but this track is just a nightmare.
Oh, you've got nowhere to move. You try to back out.
San Fuentes something is just
dip in the sand.
Playing the sand pit.
Yeah. You've got nowhere to.
Here we go. Bruce Tanning's having to defend from Michael Whiting.
Whiting wants to make it 1, 2, 3.
Dave Kirby's out now as well, so we might end up. There's a huge pile up at the last corner. There is a massive pile up at the last corner. Jerry Sanfuentes, now risking his rear wing, has transformed that V8 supercar into a sports sedan in a heartbeat.
It looks like a hatchback.
I would.
Kirby's lost it here. Gone in too deep. Oh, he's just lost the end of it. Okay.
And Jerry's just stuck there.
Concertina effect, and they're just going one into the other. Kirby's trying to get out of the way of that corner, which is the right thing to do, I guess.
Something further's happened, apparently, as a result of that incident. Anyway, not going to get shots of it.
Yep.
So we will continue on and try and give you the coverage. Steve, we're halfway through this. Connor Nixon's in pit lane.
Yeah. It's first of our pitters.
Is he trying to pull the undercut? No, surely he's going for the undercut. Surely.
Well, how long was that pit for?
Well, the problem he's going to have, Steve, is he's going to rejoin in traffic. He's managed to get clear of them, though. If he'd have missed that and even had another 2 litres of fuel, he'd be bugging. There'd be no hole for him on track. So he's worked that really, really well from Connor Nixon's standpoint. He's got to push on, get some track position back, because he was stuck in a huge battle pack. Even though he's going backwards within that pack, it was still a massive battle pack. 219 entries will assault the rear bumper now, and that's Matt Stewart chasing down Michael Whiting, and Sagas is in behind him, and they're chasing down Bruce Tanek. So you reckon, Steve, would you trigger team orders from Sagas's point of view?
I would actually one of them go in pit.
Yeah.
One of them go pit, the other one stay out and keep the pressure on. At the moment, it looks like they're racing each other, and that to me is a bit silly.
I think Stewart's just going to let this happen. I don't think there's going to be too much fighting, and indeed that's exactly what happens.
That's what Stewart's done. I would say Stewart pit.
Common or Kirby? I think that's Kirby that's just gone through.
Kirby's pitted, yeah.
Yeah. They've got very similar cars, Dave Coleman and Kirby.
Yeah, Kirby's just a little bit more of a tomato ready, the other one's a bit more orangey. Yeah. Nashi had his mullet. He's I think he wants to be the tail to Kirby's haircut at the moment, like a mullet.
Well, I was about to say, what do you reckon? A mullet and a supercar's got to be worth 3 or 4 tenths a lap minimum.
Oh, yeah. And if you open the window and let it wave out the window.
With the arms resting on the windowsill?
Yeah,
That's driving all through it. He drives one-handed, mate. He doesn't need the second one. Oh, my word. All right, so we've got updates on a few penalties. So the penalty that was issued to Jake Jackson, which I know that Chris Bleakley, for the One Night Sim Racing crew, was trying to keep up to date with, was for contact with car 101 on lap 10. Was the drive-through for him, contact causing disadvantage. We've also had the lap 15 incident between Brad Wall and Aiden Norris. Aiden Norris attempted a move at turn 1, runs wide, making contact causing spin, drive-through for 020, Hayden Norris, and I think we're now up to date with where our penalties sit.
I think you could be right, mate.
Good job, race control.
You could be right. Well done. They've got a hell of a night ahead of them tonight.
Here we go!
Oh, no. Oh no, someone has gone off.
It's a blown engine because there was a
That's
ton of
nice. Oh, look
smoke.
at that. Tannock's gone in.
He's going to have to tow. He's going to have to tow.
Tannock and Matty Stewart have both gone into the pits.
Hang on. We might just have to safety car here. There was an issue. Did he got across? Was it Stephen Lawrence? There was another car back there. I thought for sure he was missing. I saw a ton of black smoke.
That entry to the pit lane, I reckon he might be getting a penalty from iRacing.
Oh, that's why. No, he wasn't doing a burnout. He was stuck on the curbing.
Yep. But watch his entry into the pit lane. Looks like he's crossed the control line as he's coming in. So I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a penalty for that either. Looks like a late entry. Watch this.
He's done the right thing by everyone. Like the
he
problem
has.
is,
look at this crossing there. I reckon that's an iRacing penalty there.
Maybe it depends. The problem is, Steve, is that how do you cross here and have a look at what the TCRs were doing the other night. The TCRs were on a slightly different layout, so I don't know. He's straight back out, so he's straight back out of the race and then straight back off of the track. So he got no penalty for that one, Steve. So he can commit to the pit lane very late indeed. Yeah,
he did. That's good. Lucky for him. And some of our normal tracks, that would have been a penalty normally, I'd suggest. But I think you're correct. That is part of the race line, and iRacing doesn't penalise for it.
Yeah, so there's cones that lay out the pit lane entry and lines and those sorts of things. You've got to be below the cones before you make your way into pit lane. That cone's a little bit further on here at Knockhill Racing Circuit. I can tell you, David Nash has just pit, and he's come out immediately behind Jake Jackson, who's yet to take his stop after serving his drive-through. Blake Delaney's in, and ladies and gentlemen, those are where the Dunnies are at the exit of pit lane. If you're looking to take a quick
see where Delaney comes out and how he comes out, because this is going to be tough. These fast cars coming out.
He was the last one of these lead pack to pit 2 from Blake Delaney. So,
wow, here we go. Oh, he's squeezed out. He's actually had himself a gap there, which is good.
Where'd
but
Nixon
these next
come out?
group, Blake's going to be coming out. Oh, very nice.
Nixon was in the pack immediately behind Tannick, so I'd say Nixon's got held up with traffic, and that's really messed him up.
Oh wow! Sorry, viewers, but every now and again we're going to catch our breaths, even though Gotti's doing all the word after word. It's just like breathless.
You got to grab the action somewhere. Blake Delaney merges back in, but he's a mile back.
Yeah, he's come back in the 25th position overall.
So he's lost everything as Blake Delaney.
Whoa, that was a fair bit of air on those tyres.
I think he's okay there. That looks like a racing line from Blake Delaney.
I've got nothing against it. I was just loving the air.
Oh, Cowie's ahead of Connor Nixon.
Cowie's with Nixon at the moment. How long?
No. So
Nixon passes him.
No. So the thing is, Cowie hasn't pit.
Okay. Oh, Nixon has pit.
Nixon has pit. Yeah, that's why.
Yeah, he's going to struggle for a few corners with these tyres after getting them so dirty.
No. Well, see, the thing is, Connor Nixon was the first guy to blink. He went for the undercut, and the problem for Connor was that even though he peeled out into that little hole in traffic, he caught the traffic. It was just ahead at such a rate of knots that it held him up. He's lost time as a result of that pit cycle, which is why sometimes at these sort of, when the lap time is so short at tracks like this, you actually want to go late, not early, because you want to hang on to the clear track position.
Yeah, 100%. Totally agree with you. Track position on a track like this is king. It's just like it's even like your Monaco. You know, you want a track position all the time.
There's a car that just received a warning flag as well for failure to observe blue flags. It was something I heard Stephen Lawrence on the radio about it. He was not happy, which would have caused issues. So what are Stephen Martin actually? It might have been.
Here we go.
I've even got Skulls as a lapped car at this point in time. Is this somebody's Skulls?
So
I don't think it is.
Blazbomb has just called it in for the person in front of him, the blue flag, to get out of the way. So I can't see who's in front of him at the moment.
So is Flashbomb pit? Flashbomb hasn't pit. Yeah. So this is Flashbomb and Nash racing each other for position, but Flashbomb still yet to pit. So he's gone very deep into this race. And with 11 minutes left to go in this one, Steve, here comes Dave Nash. And there's a car around just ahead of him, and Nash has piled into it. Your amateur race leader, and the leaders are just dodging it. They've only got to go to the left here. And now that'll immediately trigger a pit stop for Flashbomb straight away.
Straight in. Who was that?
Is that Blake Delaney? That's Blake Delaney ahead of him.
Dive. Who dived in? Quash?
Michael Quash, yeah.
Oh, that was Clutters.
Oh, so it's Clutterbuck. It was one of the Team X cars. We knew that much. We knew who both of those guys were.
He cooked that nicely.
And then the other cars just helped them. If the other car doesn't get involved in that, they probably get through out of there not too bad. It wouldn't have been great. It would have been scrappy, but they would have gotten away with it.
Well, one car has totally got destroyed with that head bump to the front of that car. That
was Nash.
Yeah.
It was David Nash, your amateur race leader. He's going to hang on. He's got 12 seconds here, though, so he can survive on this for another 10, 11 minutes. He'll be okay.
Well, depends on how big the damage is whether he's... That's a fair bit of crunch in the front there. If he's...
Braden Sagassa, well, I mean, it's not a high horsepower track, Steve. It's just about whether the car's drivable.
I'm talking about more whether his car will survive it, whether it will blow an engine or something.
I think he'll be okay. So, here we go. My word. So Cowan's got to make 13 seconds, or so 12 and a bit seconds, plus the cars that are in between them. And Connor Nixon!
They're having a picnic.
So the name is going to get changed.
Yeah.
Oh, look at the grass Nixon.
He's Connor Spinach. Welcome to the family, bud.
Oh, Lord, Steve.
I'm making up for lost time, mate. Don't you worry about that. Michael Whiting's had a quiet race. He's had a few little incidents early on, but he's just pedal to the metal at the moment. So he's
Jones
still
has done well here, actually.
He's still sitting in fifth.
Sagassa's in. Wilkinson's in. Coleman continues on. So Coleman's still yet to stop. Sagassa's come in. So this is really critical. He is going to have to add next to no fuel, ladies and gentlemen. So his stop is going to be quick. He may grab spots just from the lack of time he'll spend on pit lane.
Yeah.
He has. Indeed, he has. He's come out behind the Fishy Motorsports car, which I believe is Jamie Dyke. He's jumped both of these two cars. He was racing. So Coleman's should be in, I would say, this lap. He's on the run to the final turn at this point in time. I would expect to see him in. Sagassa's gone very, very long, saved a ton of time, and now he's crawling all over Jamie Dyke.
Well, Sagassa's got his tyres are 9 laps younger.
And he's got pace to burn as well, and Coleman did not come in.
He's still out there.
He's got 9 seconds. Dave Coleman's got 9 seconds on these guys. If he was sitting back and just saving fuel this whole time, could Dave Coleman go the distance?
That reminds me of a good song.
He's going for distance. He is going for speed.
Clutterbuck did get a black flag, and we actually lost Connor Nixon. So he is manually disconnected. Whether he's rage quit or not will be debatable.
That's... Well... I would say he's made it back to the whether or not race control have spotted a toe without permission as well.
Yeah,
that'll be something else. And now it's continuing the defensive efforts is Jamie, pro driver.
Oh, look at that. Bit of a wiggle.
propping him up. The problem for Sagasa is if he makes contact with the rear bumper of Jamie Dyke and he spins, it's all over. He may not have even put the car there.
Yeah.
And that's what Jamie Dyke will know.
He's got to be careful. He's got to be careful. And Jamie's putting the car in positions where he knows that he's not leaving much room at all.
I would strongly recommend to Braden Sagasa, screw trying to do the crisscross, just go the whole way around the outside.
Who was that?
Coleman and Noble. So Dave Coleman has now pit. He has not been able to go the whole race distance, but he's saved himself a ton of time. Now he's got fresh rubber on. Now he's past Sam Noble. And here comes the battle for the race lead. Sagasa's ahead on the outside. Dyke is going to drive it in really, really deep. Parks it on the apex. Sagasa was in deep as well. Couldn't pull it up cleanly. And Dyke will hang on to it for another lap.
That was a good fight in there from both of them. And fair. A lot of space given.
Oh.
Where do you look next?
6 minutes. We look at the timer.
Harry Dodge is manually disconnected as well. So there's 2 guys that have left us for the night. Daniel Friedovich.
Dodsy's had a torrent night at the office. And, well, best of luck to him. It's been a good merger across to Frog Leap Juice Racing for him. It's netted him a couple of nice results in a couple of different series. And tonight, just not that night.
Yeah, and he participated today in the 12-hour too.
Yep. How's this battle going on between Richard Mayer and I believe that is Matt Stewart in behind him. So Stewart will try and get the move done. Stewart went quite late for his pit stop as well, so there was a few drivers that carried on, and a lot of them were 1-9 Sim Sports drivers. I'm curious, what's happened with that battle between Sagasa? Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Oh!
Where's Delaney gone?
Delaney had a lot of problems at the pit stop, and he's gone backwards. Look at the run. Go to the left side. Just send it. Just send it. Forget trying to go down the inside of him. Go all the way around the outside. You're still going to make the...
He's going too wide there. His line out there is way too wide.
So
He's
the
got
thing
too
is...
much. Look how much space he lost from there.
Forget that, Steve. Once he's ahead or got the nose ahead, he controls where both of those cars go. As soon as Dyke covers that inside line, the classic response is actually to pin him to the inside. So then he has to pull the car up. Sagasa's just giving him an absolute acre of room. Dave Nash has still got this thing, and this is a damaged car from that incident we saw earlier. He's drifting backwards through the field, but he's hanging on to it.
He's up there with the pros.
Pinch him. Just pinch him, Gassy. Come on. Come on, son. Now he'll look for the crisscross. Now he got the nose underneath. It's still not quite there.
That was a lot better line.
Now we're under 4 minutes left to run. Is he there? Did he get the nose up? He'll have to get out of bed very, very early to get it past Jamie Dyke.
Look at this.
And here comes
Michael
Whiting.
Line on that. Oh, nice move. So that's Whiting up
Whiting took it away from Bruce Danek late on in the piece. And now it's Cam Jones. And these two had a stoush last week as well. And then this is Wilkinson and Kelly. This is a battle between the two different classes.
Look at this.
And this is holding Cowie up, and this is actually falling right into Dave Nash's hands. He will love this. Here we go, one more time.
Again. He's trying to get the ball out of that corner. I don't get that line he's taken, mate. I'm sorry. It's still too wide.
He's got to squeeze him. He's got to be closer to him.
Yeah, 100% closer. He's giving Jamie way too much room.
And this is the difference between a experienced veteran.
This is where it's going to cause issues here. The lap traffic is going to make a difference here.
And we've got 3 minutes left to run. He's nearly there as Sagasa. If he can get to the inside of Dyke, he'll be in a right royal position.
He's not giving that inside line at all.
He's looking for the crisscross. Dyke is going to continue covering that inside. Keep him to the inside line. Is Gassy going to pull it up and along the side of the left? Dyke is very deep on the anchors here. He'll try and do it. That's a better line. He'll make contact with him. It says, hey, I'm here. I want this race win. Race 2, P2 will be just about enough for him to secure the round victory, but Gasser's not happy with that.
No, I think that lap car just got in a little bit of the way. It would have been the left-hand side of his eye, but that's probably his best attempt so far.
It was a much better line. 2 minutes now on the clock. He's running out of time. There's probably only going to be 3 more laps, 3 more attempts, and that's his best spot for it. The other good spot is this corner right here, Clark. And now he'll get the run. But this time, Dyke's got a much better run. He's going to continue pulling the same move that Braden Sagas has seen for the last few times. Now he's closer. Now he's right alongside. Pinches the front brake. Now he still gets the crisscross. He got there. He's got a better drive. This forces Dyke to block. Do you throw the fake? Do you throw the car to the inside? How late do you pull back? These two will stoush it out. Down the run to turn number 1. Dyke is very, very shallow here. This will present an opportunity. Tries to get alongside. Now Dyke's had to cover back along the inside. Now he'll look for the crisscross. Tries to get underneath. Here comes Sagasa. He won race number 1. He's driven it from 10th on the grid. And with a minute left on the in-server clock, they're still going toe-to-toe. He's close at Clark. They'll have 2 more laps, maybe 1 more lap at the end of this one, and we'll stay on board for the run. This is the cockpit view. Look at the Jamie Dyke car. He'll position it to the inside of the track. As Sagasa pinched a brake this time, he's nearly there. He's going to stay alongside him on the outside of the road, Steve, but Dyke still got the run off the final corner.
He just launched that car out of the corner, and Sagasa's just dropped.
I didn't say white flag. Yes, I did. White flag. 1 more lap to come, and I think Sagasa's out of time. And then he's wide at 1. He'll be wide at 2. He's lost the rhythm, and that might be it all over and done with for Jamie Dyke. He'll have to line it up. He'll have to settle the car. He's still got a few more corners to run, but the defensive masterclass from Dyke has been phenomenal. Sagasa's still there. He's still hanging on. The fresher rubber. They'll run it all the way up to the curving. The cross up. It's not going to be enough. And Jamie Dyke on the run to the final corner. He's got it in the bag. And what a drive it was.
That is some sensational driving from those two guys. Very proud of themselves. You know what? It's a shame they're not in the same track at the same place, because they've had a nice beer together into that race, because that was spectacular racing, man. That's the sort of stuff you want to talk to the opponent about at the end of the day. How good was that? Going left, going right. You know what? Sagasa's line through that corner, I think that's something he'll probably look back at and see, you know, where it looked like he tried to go wide to get the car straighter earlier to get the launch up the hill, but what he is out there, he's going wide and out to a different hill as well, so he's got a lot more hill to climb, where Jamie is already up on that hill and his car's got traction before he's on the flats beside him.
Oh, wow. My word. I'm done. I'm out of energy. I got nothing left. Where did everyone else finish? I have no clue.
Oh, mate, let's have a look. Jamie Dykes finished first, Brian Sagasa second, Whiting third, Tannock fourth, Jones fifth, Mayer sixth, Stewart seventh, Nash finished at 8th overall, but the leader of the amateurs. Coleman finished in 9th, Noble in 10th, Dawson 11th. So from there you've got your podiums: Dyke, Sagasa, Whiting, and in the amateurs you've got Nash, Cowan in second, and Jackson in third. Wow.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is how they stand after 40 minutes of head-to-head gladiatorial combat.
I'll tell you what, guys. I hope it was as much fun for the viewers out there as it was for us commentating this, because that was special.
And if you did enjoy it, guys, don't forget to hit
that
like button.
Yeah, hit that like, subscribe.
Don't tell me, is that Aiden Norris? I think that's Aiden Norris.
Well,
obviously with our podiums, but I love watching Aiden Norris drift a car.
He traditionally lines up, gets everyone to stop, and does a burnout. And then Sagasa's following through. And here we got the
amateurs as well behind, so that's Whiting on the
left.
Yeah,
that's a nice burnout from Nashi.
The right boys can burn
Jake
out.
Jackson's in behind there as well. And who is there? Amateur P2? Oh, that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you celebrate. That there.
That is highlight reel stuff. Well done, lads. Well done.
Mate, you want an icon for a broadcast, that's it on screen.
Yeah.
This
People, this is what it's all about at the end of the day. Look at Nashi. No front end, no back end. It looks like his car's on fire inside, the way the light's reflecting from it.
I was about to say, is he available for demolition derby driving? Because I think that's what he had tonight.
I'll come soon. I'm nearly finished. Go.
That's some nice burnouts there, Mr.
I'll
Dyke.
come soon. I'm
I think
nearly
he's
finished.
pretty pumped after that race. That was a spectacular. What was it like? Was that last 5 or 6 laps, or was it last 10
I'll
laps?
finish. Come on.
That was huge.
Ali, don't be silly because we have school in the morning.
Oh, righto, ladies and gentlemen, that is
No,
race
I'll
number
come in
2 in the
I'm
books.
nearly
Braden Sagasa will end up with the round victory with a P1 and a P2. Jamie Dyke finished, I think it was 8th in race number 1.
Yeah, that was It'd be good if we had more people working so they could work this sort of stuff out for us. But we're on a budget. Look, there's 13 people left out there watching at this point. Guys, we are too short of 580 subscribers, so it would be nice to see 2 more pop up before the night's through. What do we got here? Connor, no, Sims, no Team Nixon, they love that. Is it Scotty the Goat Cause? No, there's nothing new on the chat. Oh, Fritz has mentioned Spinovich, hashtag Spinovich. We'll have to get that as a maybe we need to do something like a drinking game where people spin or something like that, or when they see a certain image pop up on screen. I don't know, maybe we get a board game happening. I don't know. How's Dungeons and Dragons work? We can build it into our racing and our board
No, you can't. No, mate. No, you can't do that. You can't do that, man.
No, that would be blasphemy.
I need to put you on a crash course of what you can and can't do on the internet. And unfortunately, drinking games is actually one of the things you can't have people pay you.
Oh, no, this is definitely true. I don't condone drinking at all. I'm drinking water right now, so...
All right, we got
yeah.
Jake Jackson, Cowie, and Nashi. So let's get through these AMs.
Who's our first victim for
Oh, you're on the victims. You're on the victim selection, mate. I mean,
Mr. Jackson, how are you, mate? How did that feel?
Oh, I'm so surprised I ended up back up here in P3. I'm so happy. I put a lot of work for this weekend and somehow it paid off.
Was it as tough as it looked?
It was so tough, so hard to get through the traffic or even just getting past cars cleanly. It was very tough to set up a pass, and it was easy for someone to block and it was easy for someone to make a mistake. So it was always just trying to pick your battles and let them come to you, really.
How was the adrenaline? Was it like just breathe deep, focus?
It was intense since the green flag dropped. It was intense
but enjoyable,
flag to flag.
intense?
Yeah, it was good. It was good fun. I was actually really enjoying the track right at the end. It was like you get in a rhythm. It's very enjoyable.
Well, it looked like fun from where we were sitting. It was sensational driving. You have an absolute perler. And backed it up with the two good heats.
Yep. Yeah, I put in a lot of practice in because I was pretty disappointed with myself last round, so I've been making sure I've been doing the laps for this week. It's paid off.
Nice. Mr. Rankin, is there any questions you would like to ask?
yeah, mate. Jake, you're putting the AM back in amateur, mate. That was a pretty amateur drive from you.
The A's for Alpha, I heard.
Mate, I've driven quite a few races actually with Jake, and it's always banter filled from start to end. What was the banter like back and forth when you slapped that thing on pole? And it took a fair while for a few of the boys to actually come through and knock that one off. I know you 1-9 boys have got that chat going at all times. And Braden Sagasa, he'll be on the fastest lap in the world, and you'll still be rattling that mouth off at 100 miles a minute.
Yeah, that mouth was rattling the whole time. My mouth was not rattling, so I was all zipped up for my qualifying go. But yeah, very, very happy with the result.
All right, mate. Your opportunity to tell everyone who makes it possible for 1-9, mate. I'm a little disappointed for you. I had high hopes for you here tonight, Jake. You've been in the hunt for a good race at some point. I know it's going to come. So lift the lid and set the visor on for next week, man.
Yeah, just big thanks to SRW for putting this up. And then 1-9 and MX Raps Racing. And then that's about it. And you boys in the broadcast room having to watch this best racing on Sunday.
Oh, mate, you go watch them. You go wait and watch that broadcast back tomorrow.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go have a beer right now. And watch
it.
You're going to watch back some of your battles and some of your two wides. It's going to make the arms on your hair Your hair on your arm stand up, and you're just going to think, "Wow."
There's plenty of times when I had two wheels in the air making a pass, so it'd be good to watch it back.
Mate, I just want to say, anyone named Jake tends to be a good bloke, because I know Jake Edwards and you were both just filled with banter, love, and fun. So have a good night, brother.
Yeah, you too, boys. Have a good one.
Take care, man.
Righto, moving on from P3 in our amateur class, we're going to climb one step further up the rostrum. I think it's... No, don't tell me.
Racer, Mr.
No.
Andrew Cowan. Da-da-da.
Where did that one come out of, Cowie?
I want to crack a race.
Cowie,
It's a really
I'm going to
cool
give
track.
you I'm going to give you a few minutes to tell me all about it, and I don't want to hear it about the rest of the week. But you know what? You know what?
Hang on, I'm
Some of the-
allowed to mention it briefly on their free night, aren't I? No?
Yeah, mate. That was some of the best racing I've seen you do for a while. There was so many two round corners side by side. The battle you were in tonight, you had a fair bit of airtime, mind you, was absolutely sensational. How did it feel?
Oh, mate, that's cracker. It was awesome. Like, it's so tight that you can't get round anyone, so you sort of got to try and force the point. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I was clearing the jump pretty well. And just trying to carry as much speed as I could through there. And through a bit of practice this week in qualifying, I felt that I could, brake as you come up the hill and then just coast over the top. The car would land perfect, and then I could get back on the gas, no problem. So it gave me really good drive. And I was finding I was gapping guys in the middle of the lap through that windy section. They're catching me at the hairpin, but they couldn't catch me through the middle. So, I got to attack a little, and they didn't get to attack me. It was just a hairpin, I suppose.
Mate, I'm going to say, I have to watch that TCR broadcast back, because you know exactly how I feel about racing. If I swear to God, all I hear is, gee, how good was that V8 Supercar race? Whilst I'm down the inside of somebody making an overtake, you're going to hear about it this week, man. That was a stunning drive. That was a tricky one. Certainly from lights out to flag. The strategy play in the middle of it as well. Safety cars. I mean, it was just all happening.
Oh, mate, look. For tonight, it was clear air. So when I saw guys starting to pit in front of me, and I had a big chunk of clear air, I kept going. I was worried about Dave Coleman behind me, and he went about 9 laps longer and played himself well up. So I know
he did. He actually got 9 laps longer than the boys in front of him too.
Yeah.
I had no idea where I was in the scheme of things with the AM. I was just racing the car in front of me and the one behind me. But it was a cracker. It was awesome fun.
And finally, Cowie, your opportunity to thank all those sponsors that make it possible for you and the team.
Well, thank you very much. Firstly, give a thank to you boys, of course. I forgot to do that last time I was on here. Great call. Toyo Sim is our main sponsor for a deal on the Canvas Direct Drive. You can use our code PSR5 off. Also, West End Motor Group, another big sponsor of ours. Too Easy Finance, Track Racer, my own music business, cowiemusic.com. If you're in Brisbane and you're looking for someone for a gig, give me a call. We also have Night Rider Designs, do our paints, and Talk to Me Bro, our hashtag. If you've got a mate out there you haven't spoken to for a while, make sure you give him a call and say hi.
Mate, that Talk to Me Bro got quite a bit of coverage in the pre-race, so you better go and watch that.
Awesome.
Anyway, thank you very much, Cowie. You crack on.
Cowie. Congratulations, mate.
Thanks, mate. Awesome fun.
And I have a fair idea, Steve, that we're about to talk to the next guy. He's probably going to have a beer in hand, mullet out the window, arm out the window, and maybe a cigarette in the other hand. Dave Nash, mate, you do you know what class you're in?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
V8 Supercars.
Gee, I want to know whether the driver's window was down and whether you had a cigarette in your mouth and your mullet flowing out the window.
Absolutely.
And then you're looking at the back there and you go, I've got no wing. Oh, bugger it. Let's just put the handle down and just keep going.
Open face helmet, cigarette in the mouth, loving it.
Glenn Seaton was the last guy to wear one of those, actually. It's been such a while since I've seen one of those. Look, mate, that was stunning. How good was the battle with Jake Jackson in race number 1? That took up so much of our airtime in race number 1. And then race number 2, obviously, was cracking it on with the Fishy Boys. Like, they just could not pull away from you.
It was awesome. I just had a bit of pace. Then I had came around that hairpin and just hit the KFC car. And then I was just done. My car was pretty slow. So I was hoping for a P3 if that didn't happen.
Well, you did well, mate. It didn't look like you lost a lot of pace as you were
It was terrible. Terrible. I was doing 48s when before I was doing... Oh, was I doing 40...
Who cares? Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Not
yeah,
relevant.
it doesn't matter.
Matter, you know what? The cars around you probably slowed a little bit as well, and you were still getting your nose in.
Yeah.
How long was he behind Delaney for a while there too? When he was
man.
bumping him around.
Yeah. That was good.
Yeah.
That was good fun.
That was
somebody looking in his
almost that was almost not right. How much contact you were giving.
Yeah, it was tit for tat as well. He lost at the hairpin and hit me, but yeah, it was just. I was glad I didn't spin him, but yeah, it was pretty full on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it was good
on
fun.
a level of excitement and enjoyment, 1 to 10.
9 for the excitement, 2 for the track.
And how's the heart rate after that one as well?
I was pretty hot and sweaty for the first 10 laps, and then yeah, it was really good. The track actually just gelled with me, but yeah, it was just not a track you love.
And finally, what's the favourite sticker on the car? Because we've seen the do not overtake turning vehicle.
Yep.
We've seen the stickers on the front end of things. We've seen the only ramps on the side. What's next?
Oh, have you seen the bonnet?
No, what's on the ShiBBy? ShiBBy?
He's a Jacob Hughes sponsor pilot for his hair loss, so he's got that jammed on there. And these are Matthew Scholes' angry cat, because Matthew Scholes is quite angry, so we've put a cat on the bonnet for him. I thought you boys would enjoy it.
Oh my god!
Hey, you got to have a bit of fun. Can't be too serious about this. So yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Mate, that's going a bit off like a half-stuck mango, as Connor Nixon would say. So, mate, thank you very much. And the sponsors who make it possible for is it the right sim racing team? Is it the right boat racing team? Is it the boat ramp racing team?
Jesus. No, I'll probably stay with the right boys at the moment until all the money flows in, which I highly doubt, which is fine. So Bliss Homes, Capital Custom Works, FU Suicide, and obviously Only Ramps is the major sponsor. And obviously David Nash's Car Wash is coming on board next week, so look out for that one.
Mate, I expect to see little water emojis all around the car.
You get a photo of the car wash, mate. Are you wearing a bikini?
If you want. See, this is where the money comes in.
See, the driver profile picture, that mullet won't be in that picture next week. We'll have a David Nash wearing a bikini photo. That's how it's going to work out. Ladies and gentlemen, David Nash, winner of the amateur class here from week number 2 at Knockhill. Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, gents.
Well done, mate. Congratulations.
See ya.
And now, as they say, it's onto the serious bit, because Dave Nash cannot be that relaxed and win races. That would not be fair. Where do we start? I think it's Michael Whiting from
in third.
race 2 results, but I think they're still trying to do the math. I don't think
Whiting.
anyone knows the math on who won the round or anything goes on. Scassa won the round. The only people that we know about are the 3 people that finished 3rd, 2nd, and 1st in that second race, and the team boss, he's finally made a podium.
What do you mean finally?
Mate,
It's
when
only
you were
2 rounds in, Scotty. You're getting ahead of yourself. mate.
I was last Daytona 24. I was absolutely wrecked after that, but no, it was a good race this week. A couple of good results. I think we had a 5th and a 3rd, so I'll take that.
Yeah.
Mate,
Well, I
you
think you
can't-
got no one else but yourself to blame for how tired you were last week, mate, because I heard you stuffed up the timing and had to do 2 extra big stints.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the stints were like 45 minutes, so it turns out they were like 38. So we had to just fill in the night shift, which was fine, but we did well. We got a podium out of that, so pretty happy.
Congratulations, mate.
Cheers.
Most importantly, mate, obviously you bankroll the fuel bill for the entire team. How happy are you that Blake Delaney drives for you and not some other muppet that burns twice as much fuel every lap?
Well, it's better in our pocket than someone else's. He does a good job, mate. I don't know how he does drives that fast and uses that much less fuel, but it's a talent, that's for sure.
And before I forget, happy birthday, mate.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Thank you. It is actually my birthday this time.
Exactly, I know. That's why I thought I'd actually mention it, because it is actually your birthday. This is the first time we've celebrated an actual real Fishy Motorsport birthday.
Yeah, the other 364 days is not my birthday, but yesterday was, so I'll take it.
Happy birthday, mate.
Cheers, mate.
This is your present from SRW, the podium finish.
Yep, beautiful. I'll take it.
How much?
Tell us about how you thought how the race went for you, as far as the plans that you had for the race and the tight fighting behind it.
Mate, stay on the black stuff was the biggest thing. That track is tough.
Yeah.
that much undulation, jumping over curbs. You only got to get it in the wrong spot and you end up off in the grass, which I think Blake did race 1. I think Kirby did as well. So it's just tiniest little mistake and you're in the grass or the fence. So let's keep it on the black stuff and end up coming up with a good result. So I'll take it.
Mate, I actually wanted to talk to you about Ty, because I think it's really important the role that the entire team takes. We've talked a lot to Blake, obviously, but it's a lot easier to sort of be involved with things when you're obviously his dad. What is the team approach and the guys around him, just from a different perspective? Because we talked about him at length. I've heard he's actually grabbing results. He's actually gone out and grabbed strong results. I think he won 2 races in another V8 Supercar League on Friday night, I think.
Yeah, he got Super Sport P1 on Friday night around Runskogan. He made his leaps and bounds. Got all the guys getting behind him, trying to support him as much as you can, sharing setups and techniques and little bits and pieces. He had some good results in the officials during the week in the Supercar as well, so he's killing it.
And how does the team how do you approach that as team boss? Because obviously, if something goes wrong in there, obviously you've got to step up as the team boss. Say, hey, look, I'm in charge here. We've just got to pull that back, dissect it. From what I'm seeing and from what I'm hearing, there's none of that. Like the whole team is sort of taking him on board, which I think says a lot about the team culture. Really?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, 100%. You don't even have to tell the guys. All the guys get behind him, support him. Pat him on the back when he's done a good job. I mean, you can't really ask for more than that.
No, it looks like he's got mentors left, right, and centre.
Yeah, look, there's some pretty quick guys on our team in the Supercar, and to have them sort of mentoring him and just pointing out the little 1%ers, because that's what makes the racing and your lap times just that little bit quicker. All those guys get around him heaps. It's really, really good to see.
Is the plan to get him into another car at some point?
Mate, he does GT3s with you guys on a Friday.
Yeah, he does on a Friday.
Yep. But mate, whatever he wants to drive, there's no pressure. He just does whatever he wants, races whatever. Right. If he needs a hand, we always just chip in where we can.
Oh, mate. And other than that, who's the sponsors for the team? This is the first time in a good while you've actually had to remember all the sponsors. Do you know who they are?
I would hope so. To be honest, if I didn't know, I might be in a world of trouble, wouldn't I? Mate, our major sponsor, West End Motor Group. We've also got DC Shades, Infinity Designs, Precision Sim Training, Battery Warehouse, Early Beach, and a shout out to MJS Gaming and also Harlem Motorsport, which stream for both teams. That's pretty much it. And Adrenaline Images, if I forgot that one. Can't remember if I said that one or not.
I think you did, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think you did, mate.
There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Whiting for Fishy Motorsports grabs his first podium of the season, and hopefully he'll stick it amongst the rest of to come for the rest of the season, mate. Congratulations tonight. We'll see you in a few weeks, I'm sure.
Thanks, boys.
Congratulations. Happy birthday, mate.
Cheers, mate. Cheers, boys. See you later.
Finally managed to catch a fishy driver on his birthday. On his actual birthday. Now we'll move one step up the podium, but we'll actually be talking to the round winner. Braden, we spoke to you after race number 1, but driving through the field was difficult. We were having a little bit of conversation about the racecraft that was required to get around Jamie Dyke. I don't know if that got through to you, but how are you experiencing it in the cockpit, mate?
All I can say is he's a great defender. He obviously knows what he's doing. He's been part of professional leads for a little while, so he knows how to defend, and he defended brilliantly. Knowing this track, it's so hard to overtake. It's ridiculous.
Was there a little bit of a banter back and forth? Because you guys are obviously sitting up in the green room waiting to be interviewed for a fair while there about the race. Was, a little bit of chatting, done this, done that, because Jamie's actually quite easy to talk to out of a lot of the guys as well.
Yeah, well, just he said he was pretty much shaking after the race. So it was kind of a compliment to know that, I shook up some of these top guys.
Mate, when you get a chance, and you will probably in the next 2 days, you'll watch this race back and you'll think, how the hell did I do that? It was one of the most epic battles I've seen. And I'd probably say, it's safe to say one of the epic battles I've seen at SRW in the V8s. That was like, Scotty, what do you reckon? 8, 9 laps?
It was more than that. It was more than that.
heart and mouth moments. It was like, what a drive, mate. You know what? I think tonight you've proven that you are a hell of a driver and you can mix it with anyone, mate. So I think you should take a bit of confidence out of tonight's race. You might not have won it, but mate, that driving was absolutely epic.
I really appreciate it. That was, I love Knockhill for its tight corners and its short lap length. It's a good track and it's a really flowing track, and I think I really connected with this track as soon as me and my team, started practicing. I connected with it. It was really good track.
Sorry, Scotty. On that corner, Scotty, is it Taylor's hairpin where we kept on seeing? You kept going wide and trying to get the car straight. It looked like to get a bit of a run in, but it keep on just purling away from you on that spot. I think was that your plan to get a better run on down that straight?
I really didn't have anywhere to go in the end because he was defending into that corner every time. So I was like, I was wanting a good run, but with that hairpin, there's a little bit of camber on the inside of the corner. If you miss that camber, you understeer and then you get a really bad run. So it was just trying to. What we're missing.
Yep.
Yeah,
that was a tricky one, man. To go. Like we're watching the crisscross. Like the thing is with a driver like that, I think you'll see it when you go back and have a look at it from our perspective. I'll actually come and chat to you after the race as well. I think there's a little bit of racecraft in there that was probably missing. Like the pace was overall there, but it was just a touch of where do I send this? Where do I? We saw you try and show the fake, shove the nose quite a few times, and it's just working him over. And you massage the rear bumper of that car. I don't know how many times.
Yeah. I think there's a bit of gold leaf on that front of that car from Jamie Fish.
But either way, mate. I mean, round victory, first in the first race, second in the feature. Stunning drive. You got to be happy with that. You qualified on pole by what? A few tenths?
Yeah.
I think it was a couple of tenths. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you got to be happy with that when the racing's been so close. 5 cars after you were covered by 600s and you were 2 tenths clear of them.
Yeah, it's I'm speechless. It was a great race. I'm kind of shaking as well. Just when you're in that moment, you got so much adrenaline rushing through you, and that win was dangling, but Jamie obviously wanted it a bit more.
Well, mate, you know what? Congratulations. Take a lot out of this race. I think when you watch it back, you'll get a bit of confidence. I think it's just a confidence thing. Maybe a few little technical things that you can maybe work on. But you know what? I think this race is your SRW unveiling. I think it's one of your best races.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, man. And finally, the opportunity, Braden, to let the boys know how much you love and appreciate them, mate, this week. It's been a long week. It's been a hard week, and icing on the cake.
Absolutely. Yeah, I want to thank the main sponsor, obviously, MX Wraps. If you guys want 10% off, you can use the code 19. That's the word 19. And obviously, Chris for creating this amazing team, and all the boys for being part of it, and just having a lot of banner. I love every single one of them. They're a bunch of good blokes.
And you better go back and watch the interview with Jake Jackson as well, because he said you were talking through your qualifying lap the whole time. So the thing is, Steve, you don't know Braden like I do. I've actually been racing with this guy prior to either of us were on iRacing. And you think I don't shut up. Wait till you jump in a car with Braden Sagassa. That much I'll tell you.
Thank you, guys.
Congratulations, mate. You deserve that. And I've been waiting for a cracking result out of you like that for a while,
and
mate.
good luck the rest of the season, mate.
Thanks, guys. You guys have a good one.
And finally, we talk to him just about every week, but I want to know how his Sunday is going. Jamie, let's not talk about the race. How was your Sunday, mate? Nice, relaxing day? Cuppa? What'd you get up to?
A little bit of mowing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about it, really.
Is mowing like a circuit for manscaping, or is it you're actually mowing the lawns?
No, I was actually mowing the lawns.
Oh, good. I wasn't sure if you're working on getting the title of the sexiest man at Fishy.
I'll never take that off the male model.
The male model. Have you finished shaking?
I'm done.
I have now. Yeah.
You are.
Oh, that race was hectic. It was seriously. Braden Braden's pace was out there.
He had his tyres were 9 laps younger than yours, so he went out a lot later in the pits, and I think that helped him a bit. But I just said to him then that I think that was his unveiling as far as a good quality driver at SRW. I think it's the best race I've seen him race, and that was damn. I nearly swore then. That was amazing defending by you, mate. That was when you watch it back, you'll watch it. I think it was like 10 laps or so of you guys just battling and it was epic stuff. It's going to make some good highlight reel, that's for sure.
Yeah, I've had practice defending, that's for sure. But no, even Braden's pacing quality, he was up there. Him, Nashi, and Stewart were extremely quick tonight. And credit to Braden. He raced very good and very hard, and he made me work for it.
Well, I'm just reading something on YouTube. And it is by a very close friend of yours, Mr. Delaney. Boys, let Jamie know I'm not happy about being punted by him.
I readdressed it. I readdressed. It almost turned into a Tander Wing Cup McLaughlin incident at Bathurst. Nashi coming through.
Well, he didn't call it in, did he? I don't remember hearing him call it in, so it must have been all right.
Yeah, he gave me a little bump and I called it in, but then they came together at the. They both ran wide at the last corner, and I zipped up the inside.
Yeah. So, what was your plan for like that final hairpin? The way Zagasa was going out wide and trying to cut in. You're trying to get the inside line all the time. What was the plan in that corner? Because that looked like the only place that you really had to do something different.
So I know it's a late apex, so the natural thing to do when attacking would be the over-under.
Yep.
Stay out wide, cut in, take the inside out on the exit. So I'd defend the inside so he couldn't shoot it up the inside. And then I'd kind of like just park on the apex, so when he swung around, he wasn't doing an over-under. I was still there.
Okay, so a few times he got close, but not close enough.
Yeah, so he'd end up at the apex if he had a really good run. He'd give me a bump, and then I'd just go.
Yeah.
So
was that the only spot on the track that you worried about?
No, I was actually most confident there.
Okay.
So,
where do you think he nearly had you?
Every corner that wasn't the last or the first corner.
So you felt the pressure all night tonight. Was that the first time at SRW you felt that sort of pressure?
Yeah, I didn't qualify in the 10.
I know. What happened?
Knockhill. Brings out all the amateurs are doing 47s. I'm like, oh, come on.
So what do you reckon? We might switch some amateurs around to pros?
Nah. It's pretty good the way it is.
Look, the amateurs are actually displaying on top of the pros tonight. I think that's where they should stay.
Well, the way I see it is a lot of the amateurs would have raced a lot cleaner than the pros.
Jamie Dyke with the diss track, mate. When are you recording your first album?
It's not a diss. I mean, you look at me, Delaney, Tannic, Cam, a lot of the guys that race, Scops will bang doors and shove it up there, where a lot of the amateurs probably won't do that unless they think they're quicker than the car ahead.
Yeah. Or they make a mistake. Actually, they make a lot of mistakes. That's the critical time. So, mate, I can't even drive these things, so don't ask me.
Do you think some of the guys that are doing Tuesday amateurs are benefiting from that, for the Sunday night race?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I reckon it'll do them well.
A bit more confidence.
Yeah, they get a race setting to practice running in the pack.
I think it's spot on, and I think it's made the racing a lot closer as well this season.
Definitely.
Yeah. Cool.
All right, mate. And then finally, we're going to have to wrap things up here. Jamie Dyke, ladies and gentlemen, sponsors yet again for the Fishing Motorsports team are.
Delaney didn't want to do.
He didn't finish on the podium, mate.
Yeah,
you out point scored. Yeah, look, he's going to sit back and complain all night that you punted him, but at the end of the day, one of you guys finished on the podium, the other one didn't. So.
I'd like to thank Affinity Designs, Precision Sim Training, DC Shades, Relax Marine and Game Fishing, Adrenaline Images, West End Motor Group, and Battery Warehouse Early Beach. And pretty much all the guys that raced tonight. It was pretty clean. Blue flags wasn't really an issue. I thought it would be, but no, everyone drove pretty well. So I'm stoked.
Hang on, before you go, mate, I'm just laughing and reading some of the comments on YouTube.
I've never done a send ever. And what's the secret replay folder?
Who said that?
Dave Coleman wants you to tell us all about the secret folder of replays where everyone's been punting you this whole time.
Yeah, I got an archive of all the wrongdoings and all
Fishy
the
on
things
fishy contact.
No, not just that, just a whole lot of stuff.
Mate, don't find your ladies and gentlemen listening at home. Do not find your way into Jamie Dyke's little black book because your name will never get crossed out of that.
Or the bus driver's list.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jamie Dyke, tonight's feature race winner, and I have no clue of where you'll finish on the round. Such was the nature of the result here tonight. Thank you very much, mate. Pleasure talking to you as always.
Have a good one, boys. Thank you.
Well, that's the final standings of race number 2 here tonight. There was 2 heats from Knockhill. It was chaotic. It was drama. It was action-packed right the way to the flag. 20 minutes went by in a flash, and then there was another 40 to go after that, Steve. I think Knockhill delivered.
I think it delivered too. You know, people were scared that it wasn't going to deliver, and it has. And Scotty, I'll take my hat off to you tonight. Sensational call, mate. You were on point all night, and I don't know where in all that banter you got to breathe. You must be blue at the gills by now, but sensational job, mate. And Nathan in the background, epic work, mate. Without you tonight, we would have been drowning in action and not knowing which way to blubber. I think, it was a great call and fantastic racing by all the drivers, from the pros to the AMs. If our drivers go like this every week, it's unbelievable.
Righto, ladies and gentlemen, so I can tell you that next Sunday night we take the journey back to the Australian side of the waters. The first Aussie racetrack to make its way onto this year's V8 Supercar calendar. It's going to be Phillip Island. Join us on Tuesday night for all the amateur action there, an amateur-only hour. And following that on Sunday night from your V8 Supercars booth. Tomorrow night, the NASCAR trucks send it slideways as they go to Eldora. Last week, it was the call to take the guys to the dirt track at Charlotte. That setup just did not come together, and the NASCAR boys will be going to Eldora Dirt. That's followed by a US Open Wheel Series, non-broadcasted on a Monday night. So keep your eyes on that one. Tuesday night is our amateur hour we've just talked about. Wednesday's your TCRs, who are also heading to Phillip Island this week. I'm not 100% sure or confident on where the Formula 3s are. Your Thursday night action, as usual, your prototypes return to open the account with your Toyota 86s. And the boys love banging doors in Toyotas. Tell you what, that action is phenomenal Thursday night. Friday night's your GT3 series as they complete another lap of the globe. They go right around the globe. They do not run the Ashes series. And then join us back here on Sunday night, like we've already said, for Phillip Island's action. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a week in SRW. That's a week in a wrap. And that is your V8 Sunday session. From Scotty Rattlegun Rankin, from Steven Sinkovic, from Nathan Howard behind the scenes. Bye for now, not forever. We'll see you tomorrow night.